quite hold the mark. Rigby was dealt with, but he didn't have it. And he'll take the free kick to drive the Demons back into attack. And we sound like we're under attack here at the moment too from overhead. That's not a good kick though from Rigby. It's out of bounds, but it was touched over the line. For Perth, McKenna, there he is, number 12, has kicked their 2 goals. And he's had a bright start to this match, Trevor Sprigg.
Yes, and very lively for him, playing against a good player in Michael Broadbridge and doing well.
Davison and Nicholas. This is brought down towards Clarkson, who skirts the back of the pack and kicks towards centre half back. This is Retzlaff in the van. He lets it go for Kestel. Back to Retzlaff. He drills the hand pass to Bradbrook. He's tackled. Got it away, though, to Kestel, who drives to half forward. Not a good kick. Bazo's there. And held with not in possession is Guthrie. And he'll take the free kick for the Demons.
Yes, Shane Guthrie, one of 10 interstate players in this Perth team this afternoon. Almost 50% of the team. Canberra, Victoria strongly represented. Canberra pretty well represented through the Cannon brothers and Barrage and Allard from the Northern Territory. As Nicholas claims possession about 40 metres out from goal, he gets a good hand pass away to a teammate.
Thompson.
That was Thompson. Yep. More ponytails out there than you'd find in Fred Kersley's stable, isn't there? But this is Cooper, and he will have this shot at goal from about 20 metres out on a reasonably acute angle.
Playing at like the ponytails.
Playing at full forward. We were remarking earlier, not unlike a former Perth Rover in Chris Mitsopoulos, perhaps a little bit taller, but certainly looks much the same as Mitzi did. And that's a good kick from Cooper, his first for the afternoon, the third to the Demons. They're 3-3. Swans are yet to score.
And there's John Laredo and Brenton Cooper. A couple of lively customers there, and Laredo already having words. Cooper kicked 7 goals last week, and here's the forward thrust from Perth. And very good presence of mind here. Warren Nicholas with the feedback hand pass, and then Russell Thompson just using the ball very well to Brenton Cooper, who dropped off. He does that very well. I've seen him in the pre-season. The back lead, he finds space behind him very well, and John Laredo's going to have to be very much aware of that.
Cooper kicked 7 last week. He's got 1 today. McKenna kicked 5, and he's got 2 already. So the prime movers in the forward line, who did well last week, first up for the Demons, have started in good style here this afternoon. Davison and Pears. Pears wins the tap. Chance in the middle there for Hanley, who overruns it. Cannon dispossessed. I think he was tackled a bit high.
He's doing very well against Bradbrook, who is his tag.
Prepared to go in and get the hard ball, isn't he?
Yes, he is.
This is Guy Cannon. He kicks inside centre half forward. Menegola rose high over the top of Doherty. At the back, taken by, I think, Laredo. Kestel's on the flank. And coming to meet him solidly there. And forcing it over the line was number 8, another Cannon, Lee Cannon.
So just as well Ball's not playing, mate.
We might see a 21-gun salute before the end of the day. That was Davison, who got over the top then of Pears and forces the boundary throw in front of Kestel.
I think Swan Districts have got a problem too, because they've got John Clarkson playing on the right half-back flank. And when his left foot goes across the ground, he set the ball up in front of the Perth goal on a couple of occasions, and I'll be making the move if I was John Todd.
And
comments there from Trevor Sprigg.
He's kicking into that wind too when he has to do that. Yep. So it's compounding the problem.
Well, 14 and a half minutes gone, and Perth with a handy break. 21 points to zip at the moment. Now the boundary throw in at left half forward for Perth. Pears coming at an angle this time at Davison. Used his body, no clean tap. Davison tackled strongly by Pears and threw it, according to the umpire. Stephen Pears with a free kick for the Demons. The lead's from Cooper. He goes longer than that, or he tried to. It's a shocking kick. Carries Menegola. Coming to meet it was McKenna. And now Swans, through weight of numbers, will win out as Broadbridge gives it to Kestel. He misses a sitter. Allows Doherty in. He's caught at close quarters to Cannon. He kicks to centre half forward, but nobody home. And the mark taken by Retzlaff.
He takes the ball wide, looking for Callaghan. The ball running towards the boundary line. Allard's left his man to come down and meet him, but they've gone beyond Finlayson, who was the spare player. They'll probably get away with it. Peel gets it to Finlayson. He kicks up towards the centre wing. It carries Edmonds and his opponent, Jackson. Jackson did very well to get back and give that contest. Clarkson's hand pass wasn't a particularly good one. Made life pretty difficult for Bazo, and Barrich eventually gets it across the line. The throw-in will take place between left centre wing and left half forward for Swan Districts. They trail by 21 points. Jackson doing the ruck work. He's playing at centre half back, and he's opposing Edmonds in that position as Thompson gets rid of the ball beautifully. And the kick goes in towards full forward. Cooper was being held. Surely the umpire had to see that. The jumper was at full stretch. Play allowed to go on. It's with Menegola now, back from Richmond this year. He kicks towards the right centre wing, and the mark is taken by Bazzo, and away he goes. He eluded Guthrie. Doherty is off after him. The foot pass in towards Caton. This is the best, almost the best attacking move that Swans have made so far, but Perth defence stands up to it. Gehrig it is who runs it across the line and out of play about 55 metres out from the Swan District's goal. But they really haven't threatened the goal at the western end so far. As the ball comes to the side of the pack, Ogg has it now. He looks into the pocket, ignores the lead from Cornelius and goes towards a more central position. Barrage dropped the mark that he should have taken, but Perth have time to clear the ball back towards half-back, where it's knocked away from Hanley and eventually over the line.
You said Menegola was back from Richmond. I bet he's glad he's back too after the drubbing they got today from the Eagles, 135-39. West Coast Eagles in control all day, really, and we'll have the highlights in our news tonight of the Eagles-Richmond clash, plus all the other AFL details. A split round, of course, in the WAFL. East Perth play East Fremantle tonight. South and West Perth tomorrow. The other game today, Subiaco and Claremont. Perth working towards the members' wing, not too scientifically. And off, I think, McMurray's boot, it went out of bounds. There's the Subiaco-Claremont game. Subiaco, a good start there against the Tigers. This is Allard, who's caught by Travis Edmonds. It ricocheted towards Bradbrook. His hand pass was a hospital one there for Cornelius. Taken now by McMurray, who floats it into the middle of the ground. Almost good judgment shown there by Clarkson, mopped up by Kelly, who kicks the centre half forward, and a well-judged mark taken by Travis Edmonds. He goes looking for Caton. Fraser Gehrig got in front. It spills to the back. Caton took an hour to pick it up. He's tackled there by McMurray. He gets a hand pass away to Barrage. He goes right across the face of goals. Callaghan leads in the race. Russell Thompson in pursuit. Callaghan goes back, looking for Finlayson. Now a chance here for Retzlaff, who hooks it across his body towards the top of the square, but McMurray holds his ground and takes a good mark for the Demons.
Yes, Matthew McMurray been very strong in defence. Each time Swans have gone forward, he's grabbed hold of the football.
Fraser Gehrig limping in the goal square. Perth custodian from the West Coast Eagles squad. As the ball is forced out of play at left half forward for the Black and Whites. There's Kevin Caton, and with him Fraser Gehrig, a very tall player.
Yeah, a bit of height difference there.
He injured what appeared to be his ankle in that chase with Caton. A ruck infringement here, and it's Edmonds who receives the free kick, and he's bleeding freely from what I think is a blood nose.
Yep.
As the kick goes in towards Caton, it was too high for him. It's well taken off the back of the pack by Cannon, I think it was again. This is Allard. Back it goes to the original player, and the clearing kick in towards the centre of the ground. Fair amount of interference there. The umpires let it all go. Clarkson retrieves it for Swans. Kicks towards the left half forward flank, and a free kick, and it's going to go to Clarkson. He was taken on the shoulder by Abraham as he kicked it, and so the ball will come right back to left centre wing. Maybe Swans would have been better off with it where it was.
It was in the act of kicking, though, Walsh. I think
it's the correct decision. Either that or don't pay it at all, I guess. But the kick to centre half forward was intended for Edmonds, taken by Jackson, who's doing pretty well. Clearing kick from Rigby is a grubber along to up to centre wing. Kestel did very well. Controlled that nicely. Not much happening for him. Wasn't a very good kick anyway. Ogg was under a lot of pressure, but did well to get it to Menegola. Skillfully through the traffic. Down to the direction of Caton is a much better kick. And that was a good lead too from Kevin Caton. And he will have the first shot at goal for Swans. He'll kick from probably just outside the 50-metre line. It's a southwesterly breeze blowing here, so that will be blowing the ball from left to right. A difficult kick, but he is a very powerful kick of the ball, Kevin Caton, when he gets onto it. Beautiful timer. You can count on them, can't you?
Yes.
But Edmonds has taken the mark anyway.
The only one kick that Kevin Caton hasn't timed in about 10 years, Wally.
Yeah. Well, Edmonds has this shot on goal now, an important kick this too, because despite the fact that they've dominated the game, Perth have only kicked 3 goals with the wind, and Edmonds pulls one back.
Yes, Travis Edmonds there, getting Swans on the board and getting the dividend for playing in front from the kick when Kevin Caton did try and really drive it into the breeze. It was going to test him with the depth of the kick that was required, I think, and certainly Travis Edmonds to be in the right position at that stage. A good battle with Toby Jackson, the blood nose, being wiped away.
Perfect day for football, 24 degrees and a nice cooling sea breeze here at the moment at Bassendean. Well received by the players, no doubt. It was very hot earlier as Pearce wins the tack. Guy Cannon was there, off the boots of Clarkson, taken by Abraham. Sweeping hand pass to accommodate Barrich. Upfield it goes. The Demons go into attack, into the forward line. Mark missed there by Cooper. He's appealing for a free kick. It's not there. He's got it again, but he's tackled by Nathan Kelly. Going in solidly now is Kestel in defence. He had a good first quarter. It's only as far as Cannon. And Guy Cannon kicks towards the top of the square. McNaughton, bit of pushing going on, and he's got away with it. McNaughton will shoot from about 15 metres. You saw the little nudge there for Peter Kelly.
Yes, 2 of them are doing the nudging, I think, both Cooper and McNaughton.
So McNaughton now from 12 metres out makes no mistake, puts it over the top of the goal umpire's head. So the Demons bring up their 4-3-27. Swans are 1 straight after almost 23 minutes of football here at Bassendean Oval.
That's exactly what David Glascott would have asked for, to get the replying goal to the goal that Swan District's kick from Travis Edmonds. That was Kestel clearing the ball away and then picked up there by Guy Cannon. And Perth have certainly got a pattern kicking the ball long from half forward. And why wouldn't you kicking with that breeze? And Craig McNaughton there, who's developed an ability to play at both ends of the ground, serving his club very well.
So Pearce and Davison prepare to do battle again at this centre bounce. 23.5 minutes gone in the first quarter here at Bassendean Oval. It went straight through Cornelius's hands. That gives Pearce another chance, taken by Kestel. Here's Cornelius, it's with Bradbrook. He looks towards the members' wing, puts the ball out in front of Menegola, but they're coming from the opposite direction, and he was brilliantly tackled by Rigby, who recovered the ball. Menegola applies a very good tackle of his own, and the umpire indicates that it was held to the Perth player Doherty, and he will bounce it down on right centre wing for Swan Districts.
Yeah, there's a good clamp tackle there by Todd Menegola, and Doherty was a bit lucky, Paul Doherty, I think, because just the fact that he got his hands on the ball and just held it in.
21 points the margin. Davison does better at that bounce down, but it comes back to Pearce. Menegola has it, gets it very quickly to Bradbrook, up towards the half-forward line. Jackson up opposed to Edmonds. Another chance for Kestel. It wasn't Kestel, it was Callaghan who swept it forward for Swans. The ball has run out of play almost on the 50-metre line. The Swans working hard into the breeze. They're still in touch. They could easily have been in a lot of trouble here in this first term, but they've come back pretty strongly in the last 10 minutes and have stopped Perth's run as Barrich loses his boot and the ball, gives Peel a run of it, and he will kick another one for Swans, and that is an unfortunate lapse as far as Perth are concerned in the dying minutes of this first term.
Yes, a ball handling error by Perth captain Adrian Barrich, I think we'll see on this replay. He had a couple of chances. The good ruck knock there from Travis Edmonds was read well by Adrian Barrich. He's certainly under some pressure, but there was the error. And good follow-up from Chris Peel. And he guided the ball through. And Swans have answered the challenge very well, as Wales mentioned. I guess the breeze is worth about 4 goals.
So that makes it a pretty good quarter for the home side so far. If they can capitalise in the second term. Big tap there by Davison. Edmonds socketed to the advantage of Retzlaff. Back to Davison. Good football by Swans, although a little bit indirect now. Basso's out very wide. Davison on the overlap again. He followed it up well from 40 metres out. Not a good kick, but it's straight. But I think it was touched. No, it wasn't. It's a goal. And that's very good work by young Davison, Brett Davison, number 33, who continued to follow up the play, Trevor. And And that puts Swans in the box seat now as far as this first term is concerned.
Yes, the Harvey Brunswick boy playing his first game. He's been entrusted with the first ruck position, and there's the hand pass from Steve Bazzo. And it's unusual to see a ruckman down the ground like that, but he's a very athletic fellow, and he just left Stephen Pearce in his wake on that occasion. And terrific to see Brent Davison, and that'll give him a lot of confidence.
Produce a few string beans, don't they, Harvey Brunswick? Mark Olsen came from the same club some years ago. As Pear's hand pass goes towards centre-half forward, Retzlaff runs back onto it. Swan's doing much better now. In fact, it's been a good turn for them, kicking 3 into this breeze. Well, that's Callaghan under that rather crude tackle from Doherty, and he has been awarded the free kick. He's at right centre wing. Davison has done a lot better against Pearce in the last few minutes too. Whoops. They'll get away with it. Kestel into vacant territory at centre-half forward. Crashing through was Guthrie, and he finished up with the ball. His hand pass isn't a particularly good one. Barrich uses his body on Bradbrook, comes to Pearce, sockers it in almost into the centre circle. Broadbridge back from whence it came. Well picked up by Peel. Good hand pass too to Retzlaff. Retzlaff into the left full forward pocket. Caton is the target. It comes to Gehrig, and Caton is hurt. He's fallen awkwardly. The clearing kick down towards right centre wing for the Demons. Broadbridge will be first there. Off in pursuit of him is McKenna, who held him when he didn't have it. And the free kick will be taken by Michael Broadbridge. Back into the centre of the ground. Chris Peel unattended. He's been busy towards the 50-metre line. Edmonds the target, spoilt by Jackson. Allard providing good support and defence. Hand pass was poor. This is McMurray. He's in all sorts of strife. Sweeps the hand pass to Barrich. Good back up by the Demons defence. And they get out of trouble now as Cannon kicks towards centre-half forward. McNaughton is under it. Almost got back to take the mark. Kestel going in solidly. Here's a chance for a late goal to Williams. He needs to kick it. There can only be seconds remaining. Here's Abraham now at the 50-metre line. Lost his footing at the crucial time, but was taken high as he slipped. And he gets the free kick. 27, nearly 28 minutes gone in this first quarter.
What did you think, Trev?
Well, yes, he was going down, wasn't he? There it was. The tackle was just slipped up at the last second there, and a bit unfortunate for Swans.
Abraham will give this a ride on the breeze. Perth need a goal here, and they won't get it from that kick. 4-4 now, the Demons. Swans 3 goals straight.
Just over 28 minutes gone. Abraham. He's certainly got one around the face. 10 points in favour of the Demons, but they've had the breeze. Clarkson goes down the centre corridor. Finlayson over the top. Nicholas punched in the direction of Kestel, confronted by McMurray, who's had a very good first quarter. Russell Thompson's there, diving in at Kestel again to tie it up for Swans. Been some good defenders from both sides in this first quarter. He's one of them, Kestel. Cummins, Davison rather, who wins the tap, knocked on by Retzlaff, blocked there by Barrich, hand pass to Allard, run down from behind by Callaghan, ball spills free, they dive in on top of it, it squirts out towards Clarkson, he knocks it upfield, the advantage of his side there. Bradbrook, good pick-up, hand pass to Finlayson, Swans on the attack again, brilliant pass for Caton. Good football and good finish by the Swannies.
It's a great measured kick there by Darren Finlayson.
Good lead.
Excellent leader, right in between the two Perth defenders, Guthrie and Gehrig.
He can reduce the margin to 4 points here, which would be a very productive first term for the Swan Districts team. Into the breeze. Fairly difficult kick though, from 40 metres. It's straight, right on the siren. Kevin Caton brings up his second. And so a very good, for his first rather, and the Swans draw within 4 points of Perth at the end of the first term. A very good quarter of football, started slowly, but certainly the momentum gathered and some system came into both sides, and we saw some entertaining football there in the first quarter. Claremont are playing Subiaco. Claremont have come back at Subiaco after the Lions got the jump in the first half of the term, but Subiaco lead by 3 points there at quarter time. The goal scorers to both sides. For Perth, McKenna kicked the first 2 goals of the match, supported by Cooper and McNaughton, and singles there to Davison, Edmonds, Peel and Caton. Well, these teams certainly lined up differently than what we thought, Trevor Sprigg, because of players that didn't make the grade today through injury and lack of form, and it was a different looking Swan Districts this afternoon.
Yes, Bazzo there, named in the back line, is playing in the forward line today. Menegola playing on the centre wing, the normal centre half forward for them, and has given them some good drive during this game. And a new player, Davison, who was named their centre wing, is a tall, rangy player and is in fact playing in the ruck with Travis Edmonds playing at centre half forward, and has given them a focal point there. But a good performance from Swans into the breeze. 4 goals. I think the breeze is worth 4, and they can be fairly happy with that. There's the Perth team, and pretty much as we thought they would line up, actually. But Matthew McMurray giving them excellent drive. He's playing off the half-back flank and ruck roving, I believe, and certainly has done well. And McKenna off the half-forward line. They have a very good system up forward, Perth, using the interchangeable full forwards, and McKenna and Cooper. They have a good understanding, and early in the quarter that worked very well for the Demons.
David Glascott, the coach of the Demons, in the centre huddle. And I think he'd have plenty to say at quarter time. He'd be a little bit worried by the way Swans came back into the breeze in that first term. Let's have a look at the match stats so far in this first quarter. 44 kicks to Swans, so more kicks than the Demons. Handball's about even, Trevor, so a pretty even ball game really in that first term.
Yes, after Swans started slowly, TJ, they certainly got into the game, didn't they? The hit-outs have gone to Swan Districts. That's interesting, isn't it? Because young Davidson, playing in his first game against an experienced player now in Stephen Pearce, has given him some good drive, to his team.
He's mobile. And
he is mobile. We saw that when he kicked that goal, and certainly a good effort from the boys. And Swan Districts, I favoured Perth to win this game, and Swans are now well placed to have a good lead at half-time.
David Glascott, the former Carlton player and now coach of the Demons, 173 games for Carlton, and of course a triple premiership player too for the Blues in 81, 82 and 87. So he's well credentialed, and providing he can get those skills across, the Demons should have a pretty good year. Let's have a look at some of the highlights now of the first quarter with comments from Trevor Spree.
Well, this is a good set-up goal to Dustin McKenna, the first one for Perth. The hand pass there came from Adrian Barrich, and then an option. In fact, it's the second goal, I think, this one. There was options running into the goal square. Brenton Cooper was there as well, but good football by Russell Thompson to chip kick the ball. And a reply from Swan Districts here, and a mistake, an unfortunate one, I guess, from the captain of Perth, Adrian Barrich. He's usually a clean ball handler. On that occasion, I think he was half inclined to tap the ball to his right-hand side to a voice that might have been Allard's over there. And as a result, he mishandled the football, and Peel took full advantage of it. There's been a very good battle on that centre wing between Chris Peel and Adrian Barrich.
This second quarter now will show the character of the Demons, the young Demons, Trevor. They've certainly got their backs to the wall to hold out the Swans here. And
I'm sure David Glascott is telling them, TJ, they must run the ball in, because Swan Districts did that very well into the breeze. You've got to use your 10 metres when you can get it. You need shepherds, you need protection of the ball carrier. And I'm sure that's what David Glascott will be telling his players.
David Glascott, the coach of the Demons, as we ran through his credentials. And certainly the Demons with a job ahead of them now, the two most experienced players in the side. Adrian Barrich with 141 games and Warren Nicholas with 138. There's not a great deal there, is there? Ashley Dillon is standing by. He's been listening to David Glascott and John Todd. Good afternoon to you, Ash.
Good afternoon, Trevor, and to Wally. And very interesting down here on the boundary. I tell you what, this breeze is really very tricky. David Glascott, very happy with the first half of that term, but he was a bit disappointed in the way they let the pressure off. On the other hand, John Todd was happy with the way they came back in that first term. He said he wants them to be direct with the breeze here in the second term, and wants to maintain the aggression. He was particularly happy, John Todd that is, with the duels and the way the man-on-man contests were going. He wants John Todd to keep the pressure on and the Swans players as we get this second term underway. Thanks, Trev.
Thanks, Ashley. 4 points the difference in favour of the Demons. But Swans with the breeze in this quarter. By the same token, Spriggy, Swans can't expect the wind to do the work for them.
And I think that's what the mistake Perth made after the first couple of early goals too, TJ. I think they probably thought the ball was going to carry 70 metres. You've still got to run the ball in and get it within 35 to make a certainty of it.
Williams got it to Handley, now Pearce. He kicks inside centre half forward. Coming to meet it there is Peter Kelly. He's bustled out of it though, and a chance now for Abraham. Abraham lost it. Now McMurray spins away from David Ogg. It comes out to Abraham again, to Barrich on the overlap. Good looking drop punt inside centre half forward, and almost a great mark taken there by the Demons' Murray. There's a kick by Williams now into the pocket for Cooper. He's in front of Lorito. He's very elusive. And from the pocket, he kicks a goal, but Broadbridge is in the way. Holds up the attack.
Well done by Michael Broadbridge as he clears the ball to the outer side of the ground. A dangerous kick because Perth had the numbers, but Menangola did enough to get the ball across the line and out of play for a throw-in about 55 metres out from Perth's goal. That allows a bit of support to arrive in that location as far as Swans are concerned. Piers with clean possession, gets it to Williams through the pack, well played. Hand pass not a particularly good one, makes it hard for Cannon. He was pulled off the ball but was deemed to be in possession of it. Thompson is there for Perth, he couldn't do anything with it. Williams again, beaten for it by Finlayson. The ball not going anywhere really, and the umpire decides to bounce it down just inside Perth's 50-metre line. They've lost their cohesion in the forward line, Trevor, haven't they?
Not bringing the ball in as quickly, well, and just not with the same method.
Piers, Davison over the top, got his fist to the ball first. Chance for Menegola to clear for Swans, and he does that in convincing fashion. Gets the ball to half forward. Jackson knocks it away from Edmonds. Ogg is there with Rigby, and we'll have a throw in at right half forward for Swans, but that was a good clearing kick by Todd Menegola. That took the pressure off. As yet another plane departs Perth Airport. Probably hear that in the background. Edmonds trying to take clean possession. Barrich at ground level. Taken in there by Guy Cannon. Now McMurray. Up towards half forward for Perth. It will fall short. The player McKenna was being held, but play allowed to go on. Abraham went without it. He's busy. He's just not all that effective at the moment. If he can put it together, he's going to be an influential player. Here he is again, Winston Abraham. He's very talented. Terrific poise. And had good support on that occasion from Rigby, who kicks towards the right half forward flank, and that's a good mark to McKenna. Away he goes, left two players in his wake. He's 40 metres out and closing, but the kick's not good enough. He was kicking right into the teeth of that breeze. He tried to keep it low. It was a very tricky kick, and it just missed to the right.
He's got some skills, though.
Very strong in the air, and beating Michael Broadbridge there, who's strong in the air in his own right.
Good kick back into play by Nathan Kelly. And he finds Clarkson, who kicks towards the members' wing. Target is Travis Edmonds up in front. Couldn't hang on. Piers too tall there for everybody. Gets it out towards Allard on the members' side. He's kicked to half forward. McNaughton goes back into the pack, but good judgment shown by Broadbridge. You've got to whack across the nose there from McKenna.
Well, I think it might have been an Academy Award job, this one.
Let's watch.
Pushed a little bit, maybe? It's worth an Academy, I reckon, TJ.
He's put the tap on, hasn't he? Didn't bring out any water, though. Kelly kicks towards the wing. It beat all players there, including Piers, and also the ruckman for Swans in Davison. Now it's across towards centre half forward, and Peel from a standing start who drills it. Chris Peel's put it through. Swans hit the front, he's kicked two, and we've played just over 4 minutes in this second term.
Well, tracing the source of the goal here, I'm sure you'll see it on replay, and in a tackle there, a bump, a high bump, that was against Adrian Barrich on Travis Edmonds. Now, the play was allowed to go on because of the advantage to Swan Districts, and Adrian Barrich's opponent, Chris Peel, kicked his second goal, so he's fought back very well against the Perth captain, and certainly punished him on that occasion.
So Swans are in front by a point. They've just ground away at the Demons, who at one stage in the first quarter led by 21 points. Davison picks it up. He's doing very well now and kicks to half forward. Good spoil back there by Wilson. It wasn't Wilson, it was Guthrie. Taken by Callaghan, who gets it to Peel. His kick was well smothered. Callaghan again knocks it effectively down to Cornelius, who kicks another one. And suddenly, Perth are in disarray.
Haven't quite got their act together as far as the defence is concerned. 6 goals straight to Swans. It's excellent kicking. And the numbers at the ball. Good work by young Callaghan on that occasion. And the smothered kick. But then Callaghan back in. Thumps further afield. And there's Cornelius sitting ahead of the play. And very poised as he kicked the goal. And a promising start to the second quarter for Swans. And Perth really needing to regroup here.
Yes, 9 shots to the Demons to only 6 from Swans. But they trail now. 7 points the difference. Heading towards the 6-minute mark of this second term. Young Davison, I'm very impressed with him. Piers beats him that time, but no real clean tap out of the middle. Push back towards Bradbrook, who somehow found a path through the traffic there. He hooks it up towards half forward. Good pick up, Barrich. who thumps it back towards the middle. And the mark has been taken by Murray, who kicks to centre half forward, punched away from Williams. Player held there, McMurray, and he'll take the free kick for Perth. David Glascott. Been a very good player, Matthew McMurray. The kick towards full forward. He's put it out wide, and Cooper made good ground and took him, well, a Mark Waugh slips catch, didn't he?
Did well to get to it, didn't he?
Yes, he made a lot of ground, but it was an intelligent kick. He kicked into the space, Trevor Sprigg.
Yes, and letting their Brenton Cooper run onto it in front of John Laredo, and he's a bit quicker than he looks, Brenton Cooper. He's very heavy in the legs and the thigh area, only about 5'11" tall in the old language.
Some of these imports from Victoria, borderline players, have certainly made a difference to the WAFL. We saw Stanley last week for West Perth, Cooper and McKenna now, and Cooper makes no mistake. He's a dead-eye kick. He's got his second. He kicked 7 last week, 6 from his first kicks in WAFL football.
And he's been a great bonus to Perth, because for the last 2 or 3 years they've really struggled as far as key forwards are concerned. And to their credit, they've gone and recruited and looked for the players and took a bit of a lead from Subiaco with Jason Heatley. And Brenton Cooper was the player that they targeted.
Do you agree with me? It's made a big difference to the WAFL? This sort of recruiting?
I think it's excellent, as far as particularly when you're covering a weakness in your existing playing strength, TJ.
What about the numbers, though, Trevor? Shouldn't clubs be doing more to develop their own players?
As long as they're not neglecting the development, that's fine, Wal. I think what you do is you recruit to cover a weakness in the short term,
but
and develop for the long term.
There's 10 interstate players out of 21 in that Perth team. That aside, illustrating the point that you made about their goal kicking, Shane Cable was their leading goal scorer last year with 29 goals. And now a 50-metre penalty being opposed against Barrich, or is it Allard?
Might have been Toby Jackson, actually, the offender, I'm not sure.
It's neither, actually. It's Hanley, I think.
Yeah, it was too.
Who's being taken right back to the goal square. So
and plenty of blood out of the nose again from
Travis Edmonds.
For the second time today.
They've worked him over.
Well, after all the hard work Perth did, it's about to be undone with this shot at goal from Edmonds from point-blank range. He would have been kicking from about 48 metres.
I don't think he's all that well either, Travis.
No, he's not.
He'll feel a lot better if he kicks this. Swans looking for their 7th straight goal. And he's got it. Their 7 straight, Perth are 5-5. 9 minutes, almost 9 minutes gone in this second term, and Travis Edmonds getting some further medical attention.
Well, he's now kicked 2 goals, and there's the blood you can see. He's had 2 blood noses today already.
What's the law regarding...
I'm a bit surprised that he hasn't had more treatment, TJ.
I think it's got to be stopped, doesn't it?
Yes.
No wonder he's bleeding. Yes,
the situation there with Hanley coming front on, and certainly the free kick in the 50 metres was there. Showing plenty of courage.
He's certainly bearing the scars of battle at the moment as they bounce the ball in the middle again, and Davison rises high. Gee, he's had an impressive debut here as it's shoveled out by Bazzo to Foot. Foot goes looking for Caton. He's underneath the football. From behind, Fraser Gearing goes out very wide. Good defence though at the young man that time. Puts it out in front of McNaughton and Menangola as Edmonds is about to come off, I think.
Pearce is off and Wilson on for Perth.
Edmonds is still there. Edmonds goes for the tap that time. Knocks it into the path of Murray, who goes looking for Allard. And this is Guthrie. He's a tigerish defender. Rigby in the middle of the ground, or is it Thompson? Thompson it is, who kicks to centre half forward, and a good judge mark taken by Nathan Kelly. He beat Nicholas Pointless there and goes looking for Finlayson and finds him on the wing. Thompson arriving late. Now this man can kick the footy. Darren Finlayson, drop punt. Will travel to centre half forward. Up in the pack was Davison. Retzlaff roving strongly. Finds a way through. Neat hand pass here. This is Foot. Oh, wrong side of the foot. One behind only.
Gee, didn't steady at all, did he? Had plenty of time too, really, and should have got the call from his teammates to settle down there.
He was on his right foot, which is his left foot too.
Yes, that makes sense. Correct kicking foot, his strong side.
Best foot.
Yeah.
43 plays 35. A little touche there with Trevor Sprigg. I don't think I won.
Put your foot in it.
Edmonds, and from the side, Jackson mistimed it badly. No side of the football there as Guthrie wheels around and kicks to the members' side of the ground. Overrunning it there was number 21 for Swans, who is young, just on the ground. There's the kick inside half forward. Edmonds again pulls it across his body. That's a good kick from Travis Edmonds. Swans have got their 8, and they burst away now with a 14-point lead, 3 goals to Travis Edmonds. And we've only played 11.5 minutes of the second quarter.
Well, despite Travis Edmonds looking a bit sick there, that's Darren Finlayson getting the ball forward, carrying all players, and here's Edmonds running onto the football now. Normally you'd think a big fella like Edmonds would give the ball off, but he's very agile for his size, and it was a good snap for his 3rd goal.
Danger signs here for Perth.
Yes, they really need to regroup now and tighten right up. I think in the centre bounce down where Davidson's doing well is part of their problem.
They're 14 points in arrears now as Davidson sets again up over the top of Wilson. Wilson actually did well because he judged it better. Chance for Perth to take it away through Guy Cannon. He couldn't get an effective kick at it. Another chance for Swans, taken by Retzlaff. Down towards half forward. Allard, up opposed to Callahan. He applied a very good tackle, Allard. Comes to Bazzo, however. Swans still in control. Now they've lost it as Gehring gets a hand pass of sorts backward of the play towards Murray. Murray's got to get around Peel. He does that. Looks to the outer wing. Good clearing kick. Player up high was Wilson, but Swans another chance at ground level. Taken by Thompson. Hand pass wasn't a particularly good one. Claimed by Davidson. Swans get the ball to Peel. It was well played. Retzlaff in field. And here's Cornelius again. He's missed this time. I think it was Bradbrook that sent that hand pass out and not Retzlaff.
Yes, it was.
But Retzlaff has been a very important player in the Swans' fight back.
Hanley's coming off now and he has been tagging Retzlaff. As Gehrig prepares to bring the ball back into play for Perth. They need a goal. In fact, they need a couple, but they've just got to stop Swans' momentum somehow. That was Lee Cannon, the big leaper, number 8 for Perth. Comes to Callahan, who gets it to Bazzo. He's 45 metres out, and there's another one. Swans race to 9-2. Perth are 5-5. Swans have kicked 5 goals in this quarter, and Perth have managed only 1.
And one of the players that's been instrumental in the assists, if you like, in basketball parlance has been Craig Callahan. And you see that he's positioned very well from this kick out, and he's very unselfishly giving the hand pass out. And there it is there, straight to Bazzo, just to buy him some time so that he could steady and kick the goal, Steve Bazzo. He's pretty happy about that.
A Bassendean veteran, Stephen Bazzo, 121 games. One of the veterans in this match, in fact. Davison and Wilson. Even Stevens, punched upfield by Bradbrook. Cleverly read, though, by Fraser Gehrig, or was it Guthrie? He's kicked a half forward. Comes down towards McKenna, who pushes it out for Nicholas. Broadbridge is with him, though. In goes Cannon. It was Guy Cannon. That hand pass was nicely taken, though, by Kelly, who went out wide, but sharp by Barrage from the boundary. His kick right across the goal face. Swans juggled it. Larigo's taken the mark, opposed by Cooper. Not a good kick. Clears the defensive 50 at the Swan District's player being held is Troy Foote, the offending player Lee Cannon. A kick towards the wing on the outer side. Menegola's out there. He's gone quiet in this quarter. Rigby's with him. What's the umpire's decision there? Let it go. Retzlaff to Bazzo, who kicked the previous goal from short of right half forward. He goes looking for Caton. With him is Gehrig. Back comes Caton. Hand pass for Peel. Put under pressure by McMurray, and the easy mark taken there in defence by Jackson. He lays it off. And now McMurray works it out of defence. Tackled by Callahan and caught. Bad play there by the Perth defender. Travis Edmonds works it towards the boundary. He was pushed, play on the call. That's going nowhere. Callahan underneath the pack.
Yes, you could blame Matthew McMurray there for not kicking the ball, but the Perth players just won't come up and give him an object to kick to. Jeff Wilson sitting back 40, 60 metres there, and he couldn't kick the ball that far.
Edmonds beats his opponent there in Jackson. McMurray scrambles a kick. Chance here for Thompson. He Gets the call from Guthrie. He got a fickle bounce. Peel picks it up, lines it up, and I think he's got another one. He's got 3 now, Chris Peel. And Swans are running riot here at Bassendean Oval. The avalanche was forecast, Trev, and it's certainly borne fruit with the breeze.
Yeah, so Chris Peel now had Adrian Barrage moved off him. He's been an opportunist as far as Swan District's attack has been concerned, and there he is, just a loose football that a half-forward flanker is supposed to swallow, and Chris Peel did that, and 3 goals to the player that was formerly drafted, I think, by Carlton. And there's Claremont doing pretty well this quarter against Subiaco.
27 points is the margin here at Bassendean Oval. I was looking forward to seeing this new-look Perth team. It's been a real anticlimax so far. Swans dominating since late in the first quarter, as the kick from McMurray goes towards full forward, and a good mark taken by Williams. He realised his opponent had fallen over, so he made 20 metres, and I think he might have kicked a goal. It's a much-needed goal as far as Perth's concerned, and David Glascott has every reason to look worried.
Malcolm Williams is one of the players that can provide some spark for Perth. And Matthew McMurray, he's worked tirelessly for Perth, but they've had too many other players like Nicholas and Mick Nicholas in the forward line, particularly, I think, and McNaughton, that just haven't done enough up there. But that was a good goal from Malcolm Williams.
Clan of Scotsman, isn't it? McNaughton, McMurray. Who was the other one?
McKenna.
A few kilts.
What's under them, though, Trev? Not much at the moment, as Wilson wins an easy tap in the middle. It rebounds back towards McMurray. That hand pass was meant there for a teammate in Cannon, but it finally comes down to Wilson again, who hooks it across his body, but nicely read by Nathan Kelly. Gets a hand pass to Foot from half back. He kicks towards the wing. Bazzo's out there with McNaughton. He was pushed into it, Bazzo. He appeals for the free kick, and I think rightly so. It doesn't matter if the player's over the boundary, it can't be pushed in the back.
McNaughton now being shifted to the back line, playing against Bazzo.
Davison got a nudge underneath that too, and at ground level it was Rigby working hard. The advantage paid now. They don't know about the advantage there, as McMurray is ridden into the ground by Cornelius, and the crumbs emerge with Retzlaff, and he hooks it towards half forward. Bazzo and McNaughton again. Jackson lending support for Perth. Well trapped by Toby Jackson. Don't know about the wisdom of the kick, although it lands with Murray, who goes back with a hand pass that was a bit untidy, and a boundary throw in. Here's Travis Edmonds, number 9. Had a good game so far with him, Jackson. Edmonds, no stranger to the ruck battles, of course, as Perth work it out of defence. Cannon kicks into the middle of the ground. Mark taken by Wilson to Rigby, back to Wilson. This is Jeff Wilson, who's finessing. Gets a hand pass upfield. And once again, it's Guy Cannon who kicks to centre half forward. Williams from behind, but Nathan Kelly too tall and too strong.
They'll lose it.
Dust up there, and they will lose it.
Well, it's pretty hard, isn't it, when you've taken the mark and the ball's taken from you, and maybe...
Here it is again.
There's another player who did it, I think, Trevor.
Yeah,
Clarkson.
Yeah, well, it's just... I think a warning is the sort of situation that should happen there.
Williams kicked the previous goal for the Demons. I don't think he can get the distance. He doesn't try. Abraham on a good lead. It had to be a centimetre perfect kick, and it was. Two skillful players, Williams and Abraham, combining. He's had 6 possessions so far. He flashes in and out, doesn't he?
The kick will test him from here, I'd reckon.
It'll be a good 40 metres into the breeze. Drop punt, swings away noticeably. Distance was okay, but no target practice there for Winston Abraham.
Broadbridge with the kick back in for Swans. Gets it well outside 50 metres. Foot used his body on his opponent. McMurray gets a good hand pass infield, and away goes Swans again. Bradbrook unloads to centre half forward. Jackson and Edmonds up. Chance at the back of the pack for Callaghan. He did very well in that situation. Cornelius traps it cleverly on the 50-metre line. Another chance for Callaghan. Chips it across the face of the ground, and Retzlaff is unattended there. And he will have a shot at goal from just outside 50 metres.
So I've been impressed with Craig Callaghan today, the way he's used the ball. And there you see Brendan Retzler's stats. 14 possessions, after starting very slowly. Like a lot of his teammates, he's been dominant.
He has a good breeze behind him here, coming over his right shoulder. That's a terrific kick. That went through at goalpost height. That really is hammering the nail home now as far as Swans are concerned. They're 11th, they're 11-2, Perth is 6-5, and in this term they've added 7 goals.
And look at Callaghan working here. He was involved in the previous passage of play with a hand pass, and then he comes back well to Brendan Retzlaff. He has his opponent Darren Rigby now, after he had absolutely blitzed Gavin Hanley, and he's been a major reason, Brendan Retzlaff, why Swans enjoy this handsome lead.
The young Demons are certainly finding out what it's all about. Some of the vivid memories of the last couple of seasons will be flooding back to the Perth supporters, I would imagine, Trevor.
I don't think they're very happy ones on occasion.
No, they're not. I'm a bit like you, Wal. I expected a bit more from Perth, although it's a long way to go yet.
Don't write them off yet.
No, I haven't. 27 points in this modern game is certainly not a lead you can't peg back. Davison wins the tap. Knocked away again by Menegola to centre half forward. Allard tackled by Callaghan. Lays it off to Murray, who kicks towards centre wing on the members' side. A foot race on here. Cannon tries to bring it back in but can't do so.
It's a young Perth side. You often wonder whether they perhaps get a little bit carried away with their victory last week when they really weren't expected to win against Subiaco. And perhaps maybe not quite as tuned in for this game today.
Davison did well down to Bradbrook, who was tackled and the ball didn't travel very far off his boot. Now it's Murray who grubbers it up towards Barrage, who's pushed out of bounds. That should be a free kick and is. That's dangerous football. 13 possessions also. Not very intelligent there by Young. The kick to half forward. Broadbridge is in the pack. At the back, Williams. He's been paid the mark. Or is it a free kick? No, he's been paid. No, free kick.
He indicated a mark on it, Trev. Oh, sorry, it's gone the other way.
Yeah, free kick to Kelly. He kicks to the members' ring. Good judgment shown by Basso. Had a good quarter, Wal.
It's been a terrific quarter for Swans all round. And this is Caton. Now this will be interesting. He'll kick from in the centre square and there's no one in the goal square, but he played on not realising that Murray was coming from behind him. As a result, the kick has gone straight up in the air and it's landed in around about the same position as he took the mark. The clearing kick from Wilson Noor goes to the outer side of the ground, where Guy Cannon is outnumbered 2-1, but he's clever enough to get around Retzlaff and then miskicks badly. Perth again will get out of trouble. They're very fortunate to have possession of the ball at the moment. As the kick from Murray goes towards the 50-metre line. They need a mark desperately. Just little happening except that being provided by Williams. He didn't have the ball, but Malcolm Williams won't get too many easy free kicks. He gives so many away. I think he's one of those players who frustrates the umpires a little bit.
Should have got one there.
Throw in is just outside Perth's 50-metre line. They trail 11-2 to 6-5. Swans in command. It's been a terrific second term from them as Kelly's hand pass goes backward of the play. This is Peter Kelly. Young has it. Rides the bump. Bit of a skirmish behind play involving Barrage. Good mark taken on centre wing by McMurray. Now his hand pass to Murray, back to McMurray, Murray again. And he gets the ball inside the 50-metre line and Williams should get the kick this time. That was Nathan Kelly going back on him as Pears comes back onto the ground for Perth in the dying minutes of this first half.
I don't think there's any doubt about this free kick with Nathan Kelly going front on. I just get a little concerned about the number of players going front on these days. While there was, the John Worsfold one last week with Tony Modra, which was pretty fair, but players can get badly hurt.
Barrage got pulled up for one earlier too, didn't he? That's a good kick from Williams. It'll land just short. Swans knock it to the front of the square. Taken by Kelly. Comes to Barrage, who mishandled again at the crucial moment. That was bad luck for Perth. Swans are able to clear it to their half-back line. Chance here for Wilson. Hand pass to Barrage made life pretty tough. In comes Allard. He couldn't control it. Callaghan has it. Comes off Pears' knee and goes out of play. Good defensive work by the black and whites.
The intensity of this game's increased, Trevor Sprigg.
It has, and the pressure that Swans are putting on around the ball now is even showing players like Adrian Barrage mishandling.
27 points is the margin, close to half-time here at Bassendean Oval. Allard's hand pass is a good one. Barrage can kick, but he took too long. Run down by Young. He gets a second chance. Puts it to the top of the square, but it's all Swan Districts, and Menegola goes back and takes the mark.
Todd Menegola favours the outer side of the ground, puts out there. With him is Lee Cannon. Foot and Cannon work it towards the boundary and find the white line.
Troy Foot trying to pull the ball back then so he could get on his left foot.
Fans in the stand look a little bit apprehensive now. At least Perth have stopped the flow, Trevor.
Yes, they need to try and pinch a goal here just before half-time. I think that's what their coach David Glascott would be hoping.
27 points in favour of Swans and a great second term.
I think they might have to borrow one, Trips. That's their only hope.
Certainly Glascott in control there. Rigby and Peel work it towards the white line, so it's a bit of a stalemate out there on the outer side of the ground. This oval here at Bassendean in great condition. And our first 2 weeks of WAFL football in absolutely ideal conditions. Perhaps a little warm, if anything. Pears, easy tap to the side of the pack. Chance there for Guthrie, who pushes it upfield. And like a rugby scrum, they gain about 10 or 15 metres. Todd Menegola, back from the wilderness. Edmonds and Pears. Again, Pears wins the tap. Beautifully rowed, though, by Retzlaff. He stole that away. Penetrating kick. Caton too far underneath it. Gehrig should have held that. Coming through strongly there was Davison. Caton, depth work with his feet to keep it in front of his body. Crashing over the top of him, McNaughton, and Jackson finally works it out. And now this is Russell Thompson. So Perth repel the attack and kick it back towards the wing on the outer side. And Guthrie pulls down the mark.
Guthrie is just behind the centre wing, so Perth have still got a long way to go, and the kick is not a good one. Edmonds in front of the pack has taken the mark and lays the hand pass off quickly. Swans looking to get a belated goal or a late goal. Kicks long to half forward. Allard up. Misses the mark, but did well, recovered well. McNaughton is down there. He's caught. Great tackle. Ball jars free. Chance for Swans to go forward, but it's recovered by Allard. They have players loose on the outer side of the ground, and it's Cannon who takes the mark. Or was it? The kick towards centre wing. Good mark taken out there by Menegola. This is dangerous as far as Perth are concerned. The kick not a particularly good one. It drifts away towards the pocket. Bounce back into Bazzo. There's no one in the square. He stepped out of play as he tried to get around his Perth opponent. And there will be a throw in about 45 metres around from the Swan District's goal. 11-2 to 6-5. 27 points the margin. Swans kicking with the breeze in this second term, and they've made good use of it. A 7-goal quarter by them. Jackson there, being opposed by Davison. Davison with his hand to the ball again. Cornelius gains possession. He's 55 metres out. Hooks it to the top of the square. Caton almost brilliantly off hands by Bazzo. To the Steve Bazzo. An even dozen to the black and whites. It's 12-2 to 6-5.
Well, Stephen Bazzo's second goal for the quarter. Just a classic Rovers goal, wasn't it? He's a 6'1" rover. Steve Bazzo, a follower more like. Starting the back line today. But look at the reading of the play here. Once again, Swan's getting a dividend from outside 50 there. Cornelius belting the ball towards goal. And there's the way to hit the ball running towards goal. And the Perth defence can do nothing but just look at that ball go through the middle. And they might have just about stitched the game up this far from home, the Swannies.
Tremendous kicking by the Swans, 12-2. 14 shots to 11, but a big difference now in the margin. 33 points. Travis Edmonds, a big fist out of the middle to centre half forward. It beats McNaughton. He gets a second chance though, goes back over his head. Now this is Matthew McMurray, who kicks to centre half forward. Abraham Rose, better judgment in the pack though, shown by Clarkson. A former Demon. He's all black and white now though, as he kicks to centre half forward. Big pack up, including Allard. At the front of the pack was Cannon, gives it to his brother as the siren sounds. An 8-goal second term to Swan Districts has certainly given them a commanding grip on this game. 74 plays 41 in favour of Swans. Now Claremont have certainly stamp their authority too on the other match today. They lead 9-1 to 4-5 against Subiaco. So the goal scorers in this match, Peel and Edmonds with 3 each, well supported by Bazzo, who kicked 2, and Cooper and McKenna, the leading goal scorers for Perth. And the reasons why Swans got on top in that second term, Trev?
Well, I think a dominant midfield, and Davison particularly. There's Mick Ray, who's on the match committee for Perth, and talking to his coach there and looking at the board. That's David Glascott and Roger Kerr, I think, in the background. And really there's some faces there that are screwed up a little bit in concentration, trying to find out what they should do. But Swans, just a terrific team effort in the second quarter. 8 goals, 2 across the centre line, on top completely, particularly Brendan Retzlaff. Davison, as I mentioned, in the ruck, very strong. Peel, an unlikely goal-scoring source for them, has kicked 3. Menangola has been strong for them as well. And Travis Edmonds at centre-half forward, giving them a good focal point. And they're the reasons, I think, really for Perth. McKenna started with a blaze of glory. Matthew McMurray's been very strong. And Rigby has started to lessen the influence of Brendan Retzlaff.
So there's the way the game has unfolded. And as you can see, an 8-goal, 2-second quarter to Swan Districts gives them this commanding 33-point lead at the moment here at Bassendean Oval. Hope you're enjoying our match of the day between Swans and Perth. Of course, a split round, as I mentioned, a game tonight between East Fremantle and East Perth at the WACA, and South Fremantle play West Perth tomorrow at Fremantle Oval. We'll be back after news and sport news with the second half of our game of the day.
And
Karen, thank you very much, and welcome back to Bassendean Oval here, the game between Swan Districts and Perth. And Swans with a 33-point lead, 12-2-74 to Perth 6-5-41. And brought about by that brilliant 8-goal second term with the breeze by Swan Districts. And I think when we look back on this game, it'll be that second quarter that is the reason why the Swans win this match. Pretty hard to see the Demons getting back unless they have an outstanding third quarter. But let's hope so, because there's been good reports about them, and they've certainly shown plenty of spirit at times in this match. Ashley Dillon is downstairs, and he's talking with Graeme Maynard, who's from the Swan Districts camp, and he's just won a very important sports award. Thanks, Ash.
Certainly, Trevor. Yes, Graeme Maynard with me, one of the more recognisable faces around the Bassendean camp. Got a list of achievements as long as my arm. I won't go through them all. I'll just give you a brief rundown on Graeme's career with Swans and also around state sporting circles. He was sports trainer with the Swans side from 1960 to 78. He was assistant head trainer from 79 to 80 and head trainer here at Bassendean from 1981 to 1990. Received a 10-year Certificate of Merit Award in 72 and became a life member of the Swans Football Club in 1979. Congratulations on receiving such a fantastic award, Graeme.
Thanks, Ashley. It's a great honour, actually.
How did you go about being nominated? Were you in any way involved in the nomination, or was it a bit of a surprise to you?
It's a very big surprise, very big.
And how did you first get involved in football? I understand you've never actually pulled on a Guernsey as such.
No, never pulled on a Guernsey, but I seen someone's Guernsey get pulled off one day and I says, I have to be involved.
Okay, and what sort of like medical qualifications do you have being a sports trainer?
Well, actually, you've got to have St John's Ambulance and sports medicine, mainly, and
So,
a lot of background.
I was going to say, so theory not as helpful as the practical side of being a sports trainer?
No, the practical is what you survive on.
Okay, and I believe you're actively involved not only with the WAFL Umpires Board and the AFL Umpires Board, but also the Perth Heat baseball team. How did you get involved with them?
Yes, Ashley, I joined Perth Heat when it first started here, when Ken McGee was the coach, and I've been with them ever since.
Fantastic. And what would you say the role of the trainer? Has it changed since you first got involved with the sport?
Oh, yes, it's changed a heck of a lot, yes.
In what way in particular?
Well, the game's got a lot faster. They suffer a lot more injuries than they did in the earlier days because they do a heck of a lot more running.
Okay, so still actively involved. Good to see, and no doubt we'll see you around Bassendean circles, and maybe, word has it, perhaps even in other AFL circles in the near future. Congratulations on your award.
Thank you,
all the best for the future.
Thank you.
Graeme Maynard, congratulations on a National Sports Service Award, not handed out too freely, and I believe it's the first in WA, Trevor.
Thanks a lot, Ash, and we've got a reward for you too for that interview. A can of Pepsi.
Look forward to it. Slightly parched.
12-2-74 plays 6-5-41 in favour of Swans, and that man has had a big influence on this game. That's Brent Davison. And in the ruck, he's done a great job, Trevor Sprigg.
Yes, he has, and I'm very surprised that, in fact, John Todd has chosen to put him in the forward pocket in this quarter, or at full forward, with starting with Travis Edmonds in the ruck, when he had a very good focal point with Travis Edmonds at centre-half forward in the first half.
Can Perth come back?
I think they've got a chance of coming back in it. It'll be a real test of character for them. What are they? 33 points down now. And I think they can get perhaps alongside in the three-quarter time, and we'll see what happens then in the last quarter. I'd like to think that in the context of the game anyway.
Travis Edmonds was suffering from a bleeding nose in the second quarter. He appears to be okay now. Perth with the breeze. They need more from Stephen Pearce in the middle. Travis Edmonds, they contest the centre bounce, almost even Stevens, as Thompson kicks the centre half forward, and a good mark pulled down here by Jackson. He's been switched. He kicks towards full forward, intercepting David Ogg. Cooper's got the crumbs. He pulls it across his body, but he's pulled it too far. Different spot for Jackson.
Yes, he's more known as a half-back, isn't he, as a half-forward than a half-back. Did quite well early against Travis Edmonds at half-back, but now with Edmonds rucking, I think obviously David Glascott says we need something in the forward line. We can afford to put Jackson there.
They've all got their hands up. I don't know why, all the Perth players. I think they're calling for it.
Peter Kelly's a bit confused too by what's going on down there.
Look, it's obviously an instruction. There's 8 Perth players out there with both hands in the air.
He finally goes right down the middle. A big pack of Swans up. Nathan Kelly was one of them, and he contests the ball now with Thompson, and the umpire will bounce it down at centre half forward.
I think they're surrendering. That's what they're doing.
Not yet. Travis Edmonds wins a good tap at the side of the pack. This is Retzlaff. Good ball control. Gets it to David Ogg at close quarters. He hooks it towards the middle. This is Young. Lost control of it. Now Guthrie. He's a goer. He kicks it inside half forward. Cooper outnumbered again here. Kelly pushes towards the boundary. Laurito can't main it in. That'll be a boundary throw in the left full forward pocket for the Demons. But they're into attack at least, well.
Yes, but 32 points in arrears, so they've got a lot of work to do. They were involved in a very topsy-turvy game last week against Subiaco. They kicked 7 goals in the first term and were held goalless in the second. Finished up with 9 in the last to win the match. So perhaps it's not beyond them. Pearce gets out of the tackle well. Retzlaff comes back at him again and pulls him off the kick. And as a result, it skews away to the left and goes in out of play in that left full forward pocket.
Question the balance of Perth's forward line with 2 players like Malcolm Williams and Winston Abraham across half forward. I just think you need a player who's a little bit harder at the football. I see Gavin Hanley down there running on the ball. He might give them some strength in that area.
McNaughton has gone to centre half back in place of Jackson, and it's Jackson who gets it down to Hanley, and that's a very good goal. He was under a lot of pressure and on a very acute angle. So Hanley, who started off as the tag on Retzlaff, has relished the change of role early in this third term with an uncanny goal.
Yes, deep in the left full forward pocket there from the boundary throw, and in the hands in the air from Dustin McKenna indicated that it was full points. And Gavin Hanley's a pretty fierce competitor, former South Suburban player, and certainly will add some spirit into the Perth lineup as he runs back into the centre square.
They need plenty more where that came from, though, just to peg back the lead. Let alone give themselves a cushion into the last term. Pearce wins the tap. Knocked down by Rigby was good football, but it came to Clarkson. He got the call from Retzlaff out wide, and from centre wing he kicks to half forward. Target is Peel. Had a good game, Chris Peel. He kicks to centre half forward. Mark almost taken by Bradbrook. He's run down by Cannon. Cornelius in the van, tackled by Allard and loses it. Allard can't find the handle. Good tackle put on him by Menangola. This is Edmonds now, who gets around Guthrie and kicks towards full forward. Mark almost taken there by Callaghan. With him McMurray. A lunging dive by Wilson. Good presence of mind by Callaghan. Gets it toward Finlayson. He's hemmed in on the boundary. He gets around Thompson. And a check side kick. Oh, what a goal. What a goal from Finlayson. He had not much room to operate. He's got around Thompson, and with a check side kick has put through a beauty.
Well, maybe it doesn't quite measure up with Mickey McGuire's 7 bounces last year, but have a look at this. Darren Finlayson, he's also in the black and white colours. He does the Kevin Mitchell sidestep and back shoe shuffle. Watch this, going backwards. And now he gets around his opponent there in Thompson and dropping it on the outside of the boot and screwing it back beautifully. And he loved it.
Well, this has been a terrific effort by Swan Districts, remembering that they lost Ugle and Eaton before the game started, 2 key players, and Jason Ball's not out there either. So in many regards, they're well below full strength. As Piers takes the ball out of the centre and copies Finlayson's kick down to half forward. McNaughton is there. Broadbridge takes clean possession. Hand pass to Og. He's caught, run down, well tackled by Barrage. Did well not to give the kick away, although his teammate could easily have given one away. He had to get into the back of Young. But we're going to have a bounce right on the point of the square. Perth have the ball in attack. Piers gets there late. Edmonds will get a second attempt at it. Over the top came Guthrie. Whoops. Menangola nearly on the end of a teammate's boot. His hand pass is a good one. Bradbrook delayed the hand pass and gets it to Kelly. Kelly's kick not so good. It drifts out of play on the full. Gehrig will bring the ball back in. That's Caton on the mark. Limited opportunities this afternoon for Kevin Caton. Good clearing kick by Gehrig. Edmonds up over the top of Piers. Was a good spoil. Chance now for Guy Cannon. Almost caught by Caton. Gets it back to half forward. Chance for Perth. Well played by Lee Cannon. Abraham couldn't control it. Clarkson ties it up. And there'll be a bounce just outside 50 metres. Perth have the ball on their forward line, but there's not a lot happening for them. 13-2 to 7-6. Swans lead. Bradbrook. Now Edmonds. Og to centre wing. Cornelius is in front. Young over the top. That's a good mark.
Very good mark indeed by the young man. And Menangola out wide. Kicks towards the pocket and Caton. Beautiful football by Swans. Menangola and Caton, that's the old firm. The kick to the top of the square. Davison almost the mark. Not paid. Play on. He's a bit unlucky, really. Now the umpire's whistle has sounded and the player's been legged. That's Wilson with a free kick. Todd in the coach's box. Bulletproof glass surrounds him. He kicks towards the members' wing. Edmonds juggles it.
That's to protect the people on the outside, Trip.
This is Russell Thompson. Good-looking drop punt chance here for Cannon. With him is David Og. Cannon in the van. Og used his body. Fairly, says the umpire. Those 2 goals at the start of this quarter, Spriggy, which from Finlayson and Handley, be 2 of the best you'd see.
Excellent. Great goals, both from the wrong foot, with Handley using his left foot from the left pocket, and in fact using the screw punt was Finlayson from the right pocket.
That was well done by Jackson. Kicks to the top of the square. Laredo got a bad bounce. Cooper's in pursuit. Laredo kicks it in front of his body and does very well. And now the safety of the white line buys Swans some breathing space.
The talented player, John Laredo. Sometimes a little temperamental. Doing a pretty good job against Cooper today.
Finlayson kicks it to the half-way line, the centre of the ground on the wing, and the mark taken by Rigby. Rigby's kick towards full forward, badly directed, and Kelly chips in to take the mark. Well, Perth haven't got a great deal of system when they go forward. And now this is Broadbridge with the mark at half-back. He kicks towards centre wing, and that's not a good kick. Almost finished up there. McKenna thumps it towards full forward. Cooper's into everybody's back. No free kick. Allard went without it. Chance now for Og. He's got back up from Broadbridge. Good shepherd. Jackson goes in to apply the tackle. David Og, I don't think, had it. It's fed to Allard, who kicks to the top of the square. Young over the top does very well and forces the behind.
Got a handy leap, hasn't he?
It was a brilliant mark a short time ago.
The margin's 31 points, so Perth have made little impression on the half-time lead, and we're 10 minutes into this third term. Perth's final use of the breeze. As Swans working around the outer side of the ground. This is good football. Broadbridge went without it, but he's got plenty of time, and they swing it in towards centre half forward now, and Cornelius has got away from his opponent, Thompson, to take the mark. And there's a big gap at the top of the square to allow Davison to run into it. He's got a good leap. Couldn't get to that one. Caton is at ground level. Finlayson is with him. Gehrig arrives. Well played. Here's Finlayson again from around about where he kicked that previous goal. He won't score with this kick, but Bazzo might with his. Steve Bazzo will shoot from just inside 50 metres. Kicking into the breeze, but we've seen players get the distance from here.
Can't get much closer.
He's a pretty good kick usually, Steve Bazzo. Thanks, Steve.
You're not calling them well today, Walt.
Got it in for me, haven't they?
He's calling well, he's just not anticipating, Trev.
13-3 to 7-7 is the score. Swans in complete control at the moment, and there's nothing to suggest that Perth are going to turn this game around. As Gehrig drives it down towards the centre square, it clears the pack and runs onto the wing. Two Perth players stood aside to allow each other to take it. Eventually Handley claims it. Williams is the target. Should have marked that. He's got support, doesn't need it. 45 metres out, wobbly old kick, and it's not good enough.
Well, Perth have blazed away. Only one goal to their credit so far in this term.
Here they go with their hands up again.
Clarkson gives it to Broadbridge, who finds David Ogg. He was in trouble there. Cannon confronted him. Abraham had it and lost it, and now David Ogg clears it. Bradbrook goes up, misses the mark, taken by Nicholas. At close quarters to Thompson. He tried to get it defensively away towards Handley. Going in hard there was Handley. Don't know whether his eyes were on the football. It comes to Thompson, and now Cannon from 35 metres blazes away and puts it through. Guy Cannon, number 4 for the Demons. Kicks a badly needed goal for Perth. 11.5 minutes gone, but a long way to go for Perth.
Yes, just their second goal for the quarter. There's plenty of physical stuff happening there. Toby Jackson was involved in that. Warren Nicholas now with a hand pass further afield to Thompson, then to Guy Cannon. And he's just snuck it in front of the left-hand post. But Perth really would need to do more. And very interesting score there between Claremont and Subiaco, with Claremont starting behind, but now going right over the top of the lines.
Do you want to get on, Subi?
No thanks, TJ.
25 points is the margin here as Pearce tries to take clean possession. Soccers the ball once, then twice. Here's Williams getting into the game a lot now, Malcolm Williams. That kick has got terrific carry. Broadbridge, great mark. I think he tried to spoil the first time, and I think he may have struck his head on the ground as he went backwards, but he's okay. Tried to spoil it, I think.
He could only get one hand up there, I think, and controlled it well in the finish.
Yes, it was a great mark, and his short kick has found Menegola. Again, rewarded for keeping his eyes on the ball. Edmonds the target here. Good use of the ball by the Swan District's defenders. They work it around the members' side of the ground. This kick will land on half-back flank. McNaughton up over Bazzo. Chance for Rigby. Hand pass was poor. Knocked away by Bazzo. Another chance here for McNaughton. He keeps it in, but to Swan's advantage. And it's Retzlaff who eventually loses control of it. Or Young, was it? And it's gone out of play between left centre wing and left half forward for Perth. As Edmonds comes over the top of Pearce. Finlayson. Pearce in on top of him. The ball spills free of the pack and goes out of play for another throw-in a similar position. So in the true right centre wing position now for Swans. They're kicking into the breeze in this term, and they're holding on to this very handy 4-goal and a bit lead. Nice throw, Todd. And he got caught for it.
Yes, Menengola penalised. Stephen Pearce had a lot to contend with today with Travis Edmonds and young Davison, both strong, leaping players. Now another chance for Williams. He did that well. Hand pass was a bit untidy, though. Callaghan put the pressure on, and now picked up by David Ogg. Kelly, tackled by Williams. Good tackle, too. David Ogg comes back, though, to kick it towards half-back and Young. Behind him, Barrage. Lending support here is Guthrie. Guthrie tackled when he didn't have it. Barrage gets it to Pearce. He breaks the tackles, did well there. Now Abraham from 55 metres out. He kicks towards full forward. Almost the mark to Cooper. He's caught and dumped by Laredo. Chance here now for Cannon. Lee Cannon kicks a goal. The Cannons are blazing away, Walt. Well, slowly does it, Trevor. I suppose you couldn't really write them off yet, although they've got the job ahead of them.
Well, my suggestion was that they may be able to get up to about level at three-quarter time, and it's just a matter here of Lee Cannon saying, well, what you can do, brother Guy, he kicked the previous goal for Perth, I can do as well. So there it is, the snapshot from about 40 metres. Set it up nicely, allowed the breeze to do the work for him. And Perth are chipping away at the lead, and will give themselves some chance, I think, of getting back into the game.
Well, it's down to 19 points, and we're just beyond the halfway mark of this third term as Retzlaff kicks Swans forward. In fact, I think it might have been Bradbrook again. I'm having trouble with those two. The kick towards centre wing. Barrage was there with Young. The umpire's whistle has gone. A free kick to Bradbrook. Retzlaff has taken the ball and has been allowed to play on as he clears it up towards the half-forward line, and Bazzo was in open space and took a very comfortable mark. The lead is from Davison. Chance at the back of the pack for Allard. He needs a good kick here, and it is a good one. It's found Guthrie, but nothing on centre wing. Guthrie has to wait till players run into that vacant space, and eventually Wilson did. Jackson trying to give him a target at half forward. It's gone in the Jackson direction. Young up again, nearly took another good mark. Williams soccers it away from the pack, gains a few metres for Perth. More importantly, gains some time because he gets it out of play. Caton is coming off. I suspect he's injured. As Sarah comes on, throwing it left half forward for Perth. They've really got to get a move on here. Piers up and gets it down well to Williams, who shrugged the tackle but has been awarded a free kick anyway. He's been very busy. He needs to be constructive. He's missed a couple of shots at goal. He delayed a hand pass a moment ago. If he'd given the first one, I'm sure Perth would have been running on to goal, but instead they lost the ball. This is Jackson into the pocket. There's no one there. Nicholas comes at it. Taken by Broadbridge. He's claimed. Kelly was claimed. Perth applying good pressure, but Swans withstand that pressure, and Broadbridge hooks it around the outer side of the ground, and Peel takes the mark.
Peel kicks towards centre wing, and up goes Jackson. Chance to redeem himself. That previous kick was a shocker. That's a better one. Better directed. Thompson. Perth go forward again through Cannon, and he finds Cooper only metres out from goal. That was Guy Cannon who fired it forward. So it's been the Cannons who've set Perth alight so far in this term. They've kicked goals and they've set them up. And now Brenton Cooper, 7 last week, only 2 so far this week, with a chance to put the Demons 10th on the board. He'll kick from 20 metres out, slight angle, drop punt is okay, I think. It's a goal to Perth. That's his third, Walt.
Third, is it?
Yep. And I think it's his third, is that right, Trev? Third goal to Cooper. He certainly did a good job there.
Yeah, classic bit of play, wasn't it? Because he dropped back, actually, here. You can see him dropping back behind his opponent, Laredo. And that was good football. He's done that twice today to get 2 of his goals. It's a mark of a player that maybe is not big enough to be really in the key position. It's hard for him to mark over the top. But if he can find space behind and the delivery is good, he can capitalise as he did there.
Still 23 points to margin, though, in favour of Swans. 13 points, I'm sorry. Here's Williams again. He lost it in that tackle. Cummins to Finlayson. Measures the hand pass to Cornelius. Now Sarah and Edmonds. Edmonds in front. Comes down to Callaghan, who hooks it across his body. That's coming back. Great kick. Swan supporters really enjoying that. And a quick reply. Young Craig Callaghan, as Trevor has mentioned earlier today, has been in the thick of things for most of the day. And that was a very clever snap at goal.
Very clever with his hands, Craig Callaghan, and very quick. And there he had a very quick look to see if he could give it off, and he knew he couldn't. So then on the left foot, the preferred foot, and he set it up to the left-hand goalpost as he looked at it. and was able to get the breeze to just swing it around nicely. And those statistics don't give really the credit for the value in Craig Callaghan's game today, although 10 possessions is pretty fair effort.
Well, Davison's back on the ball now for Swans. Edmonds has gone to full forward. The bounce of the ball favours Pearce. He should be able to win a decisive knock here. In fact, took clean possession, as you saw. Kick, which would have barely gone 10 metres, lands with Finlayson.
Should have got a free kick, I think, Walt.
Finlayson kicks towards the 50-metre line. It'll fall short of that. That's a good mark taken by McMurray. The lead coming now from the half forwards, but it was easily destroyed. And Peel runs onto it for Swans. And his kick has landed with Sara, who's gone to Cornelius, 40 metres out and directly in front. And I think that sneaked through also. So lax defence by the Perth players in the last 2 minutes has arrested Perth's run at Swans. They've kicked 2 goals in as many minutes, and that now makes Perth's task very, very difficult, harder than it was before.
Chris Peel continuing to put his influence on this game, and Joe Sara there, very quick thinking, as Cornelius had peeled off and had plenty of time to put that goal through. And yes, it's good Swans have been able to stem the tide. That's what John Todd would have wanted. And now a real tough task for the Demons.
Pearce again. Beats his marksman easily there in Davison. Retzlaff was gang tackled and lost it. Allard kicks inside half forward. Can't see it for Wilson. He can't find the handle. Now he gets a hand pass wide of Williams. It was untidy. And now David Ogg, who was bumped as he kicked by Abraham. That ball carries the centre circle. Sara gives it across to Peel. And Peel goes looking for Edmonds. And some of the delivery into the forward line by Swans has been as good as you'd see in any standard of football today.
Yes, Finlayson before, and that one on that occasion. Excellent football. And Travis Edmonds being used both in the ruck, centre-half forward, and now at full forward for Swans.
He looks to be maturing now into a very capable footballer. He's 40 metres out here, though, into the breeze. Drop punt, swings away, won't reach. Up goes Gehrig, fisted into the back pocket, fairly dangerous. Hanley, Sockers, also still dangerous. Now pushes towards the boundary. Guthrie gets tangled up behind the play there with Callaghan. He's a rough and tough little customer, Callaghan. He seems to ride the bumps pretty well too, Trevor.
Terrific to see there, TJ. Just jumped straight up, did not worry about what had happened to him. Get on with the game.
Jackson did well, got it down to Allard. Allard's kicked the centre wing. Williams has a chance. So is Davison in front. Back comes Williams. He's held. Is in possession, says the umpire. Chance here for Pearce, going nowhere. Williams, tackle without it. Play on the call. Could have got a push in the back then, Williams. Umpire wants it now. .93 plays 68 in favour of Swans. Holding Perth. Davison. Bazzo pushes it out. Chance for Guthrie. Knocks it towards the members' wing. Hanley's outnumbered about 4-1, close to the boundary. And I'd say that's the best place for the ball.
Free kick, Trev.
We've got a push as he went over.
It'll be Hanley's kick. We take it from left centre wing. 25 points is the margin. We're well into time on in this third quarter. And Perth just haven't done enough. They've only reduced the half-time deficit by 8 points. And they'll be kicking into the breeze in the last quarter. It really does look as though Swans are set for their first win of the season here, as Abraham taps it into the path of Lee Cooper, Cannon, who got it to brother Guy. Chance for Larito. His hand pass is a good one to Retzlaff, and Retzlaff clears it around the outer side of the ground. Swans out of trouble and on the attack as it goes up towards half forward. Finlayson is there, beaten for it by Thompson. Thompson's hand pass goes back to Guy Cannon. He looks infield. Good kick. Finds brother Lee. That's better use of the ball by Perth. The next kick is the crucial one, as he puts it down towards full forward, very high, and Cooper has infringed. Ran straight into the back of his opponent, Larito, and the latter has the free kick.
He's not an aerialist, Cooper.
No, he's not big enough to be able to outmark his bigger opponents from behind, TJ.
Menegola has it at centre half back for Swans now. penetrating kick towards half forward, but a good mark by Allard. He goes across the face of the ground, and that will come off as the hand pass from Gehrig sends Jackson away, down towards the half-forward line. McNaughton crashing through. He's being pursued by Retzlaff. Well played by Retzlaff. And as a result of that, he finishes up with the ball and can send Swans forward again to Bazzo.
He's had a pretty good game, the veteran, Stephen Bazzo. Only 9 possessions, but he's been in plenty of the action today. Jackson went one hand at the back of Edmonds. Peel soccers it away, and it finds the white line.
David Glasgott's very conscious of Travis Edmonds, isn't he? As soon as he's gone to the forward line, he's taken Toby Jackson from centre-half forward and put him back on him.
14 possessions to Chris Peel. Edmonds and Jackson, shoulder to shoulder. Good tap by Jackson. This is Guy Cannon from the half-back line. Not such a good kick. Clarkson chipped in front of Williams there. Looking at it close to the boundary again. Pushed upfield, favours Williams. Hand pass to accommodate Abraham. He travels inside 50, lines them up, shoots, and the kick is shallow. Time running out in this third quarter. 25.5 minutes gone.
Watch the hands go up.
Broadbridge. Where do I go?
It's actually working. I think what Glasgott's trying to do by getting them all to raise their hands is make the fullback aware of where they are. Instead of just sort of being non-entities out there, he can actually see all these Perth arms in the air, and it is causing some confusion.
Clarkson to Broadbridge, who ran down the ground to receive that. It was good defensive work by Michael Broadbridge. And the Swans find the safety of the white line again.
It's also a signal well for the zone defence, the outriders, to say, I've got this covered, I've got this man covered, to indicate to the other players what's happening. That's the teammates, the Perth teammates.
That was Doherty on the boundary, waiting to come on as Bradbrook goes upfield. Cornelius was held, and he'll take the free kick. Offending player was McMurray. There's the kick to centre half forward. Oh, good leap there from Allard. He's juggled it and held it on the way down. He was the third man in the queue. It's all Perth out here, and the mark has been taken by Guthrie as Abraham goes off. The Demons, through weight of numbers, will win out here. Doherty just on the ground. Goes inboard now with a hand pass to Wilson. He's 55 metres out. The kick on its way is way offline. Broadbridge and Nicholas get tangled up, and it's one behind only.
Yes, Perth just trying to kick their goals from 45 and 50 metres, and you just don't do that. I think they've kicked 5 behinds and just 4 goals in this quarter, and just haven't run the ball in well enough.
Broadbridge kicking it to himself. And he gets about 35, 40 metres out from goal before he actually makes the kick. It was well done. And now Bradbrook drives the ball up towards centre wing. Cornelius kicks infield. Oh, heavens above, what's going on here? Davison was all on his own, and with him was Clarkson, but between them, they've messed it up. Swans get another chance. Menegola has it. He's caught, but they have support everywhere. Cornelius is 60 metres from goal. Now 50. Bazzo's in trouble. Sends the hand pass back towards the boundary line. Wilson beats a player pretty solidly. That's holding the ball.
Yeah, the umpires, I think, I've been going to say, Wally, for a while, the umpires haven't paid good tackles today and rewarded them. And on that occasion, Clarkson was trying to break through, and you've just got to reward the tackler.
Gee, Piers did his best to drop that too. He's still almost back in the back pocket. He's on the 50-metre line as he kicks the ball down towards centre wing. Menegola's in front. Perth have the numbers. In fact, Menegola's outnumbered 3-1, but the umpire's whistle's gone. Now what's happening? It's a free kick to Perth. And I'm not sure. I mean, obviously the kick was there. It wouldn't have been paid, but they had possession of the ball at half forward, a full kick further afield. It wouldn't have been the easiest game to umpire at times this afternoon. There's been some pretty scrappy football by both teams as the kick goes down towards half forward. Barrich up in front, Young over the top. He's got a terrific leap. Hand pass went to Kelly, who was standing still, but Swans run it out of defence with consummate ease. Bazzo looks towards half forward. The target here is Callaghan. With him is Allard. And between the two of them, they get it over the line on the siren at three-quarter time. With Swan Districts in total control, they lead by 23 points, 15-3 to 10-10. They've in fact had fewer scoring shots, but are in a very strong position, remembering that they're coming home with the breeze.
Accurate kicking by the Swannies, and also straight kicking by Claremont has given them an unassailable lead against Subiaco in our other match. East Fremantle play East Perth tonight, South Fremantle play West Perth tomorrow. Peel and Edmonds, the leading goal scorers for Swans, and a Cooper for Perth with 3. A bit disappointed with Cooper in front of goals, Trevor. I just don't feel that he's got the ability to leap over players that are taller, as you mentioned. He may be better suited to stay on a half-forward flank for Perth.
Well, they virtually use him. They use a bit of a decoy. They have done, TJ, with players like Warren Nicholas and so on. But Warren Nicholas has been very disappointing today. But I think one of the other problems the Perth forwards have got is they've got two very much crumbing players on either flank in Williams and Abraham. They really don't have enough, strong players to really go in and get the ball on the ground. And I think that's shown up a little bit today.
I think the stats are about to show us that Swans have had aerial supremacy too in this match, and the marking power of Swans, do you think, has been a factor?
Well, it's 50-37. I think that has been an influence, certainly with players like Travis Edmonds, seems to have marked the ball fairly regularly, and even players like Michael Broadbridge in the back half of the ground.
What about the battle between Piers, Edmonds and Davison?
I think they've all had their moments. Piers has had to work pretty hard. He's had a little bit of support from Wilson. Interesting that Davison's gone to full forward for most of that quarter. And I think that's good tactics by John Todd to ease the young player in a little bit. But certainly Edmonds has been very good around the ground. He's a very mobile player, is Travis Edmonds, but Davison has the makings of a good player, TJ.
He's a very mobile ruckman indeed for Swan Districts. John Todd's lost none of his enthusiasm, as you can see there. The game's unfolded like this afternoon. An 8-goal second quarter by Swans, and that may be the telling factor, Trev.
Yes, certainly. You can see that Perth, in fact, have outscored them in both the other quarters, but allowing Swans to kick 4 goals into the breeze in the first quarter and 3 goals, 1 into the breeze in that quarter by good use of the football, running it from midfield particularly. Players like Brendan Retzlaff and Chris Peel, another good quarter of football from Chris Peel. Not so much kicking goals this time, but setting the ball up in the midfield area, bringing it forward for Swans, and that allowed them to kick those goals. A couple of miraculous goals in that quarter.
He doesn't mince words, does he, John Todd? David Glasgow, a bit quieter in the Demons camp, and they certainly got their backs to the wall in this match. What do you think Glasgow to be saying to them?
Well, minimise the damage, I think, TJ. I don't think he would be realistic to assume that 23 points down into the breeze, he'd be battling to win the game. They really haven't got the spark to win the game either, I wouldn't have thought. So it'll be a situation of building on the season. He had a good win last year, and this is one of the goals that Perth scored in this quarter. Plenty of physical stuff there. That was Warren Nicholas, disappointing, as I mentioned, to Russell Thompson coming through, and Guy Cannon's goal. The Cannon boys have been useful players for Perth, working pretty hard. And Adrian Barrett involved in this one. And this is brotherly love situation here. This is Lee Cannon, because Guy Cannon's kicked a goal, so his brother Lee gets involved here. And working in hard there is Cooper. And the snapshot on that occasion from Lee Cannon. That was the stage where Perth looked like they could come back and get into the game, but Perth steadied very well, and this is one of the good goals they got.
You've been impressed with this young man, Callaghan?
Yes, absolutely. That's Cornelius. He's also a good prospect, but this is Callaghan, a Commonwealth Bank Cup player last year. He's been very good with his hands, and that time he had a quick glance, as you noticed, but realised he then had to kick the ball himself, and did an excellent job of it. And this is a good goal from Kelly of Swan Districts. There it goes, or Cornelius, in fact. And Drew Cornelius there. I mentioned that Drew Cornelius was a good player midfield. The blonde-headed player, he played very well in the pre-season games. And as I mentioned, an excellent prospect for Swans, and some good signs for Swans with some of those young players coming through.
Stephen Pearce there, and he certainly has had his hands full with Travis Edmonds and Brent Davison, but I think you'll find that his stats will read pretty well, and judging by the hit-outs and the stats, he has 16 possessions for Stephen Pearce, and the hit-outs also showed that he's certainly held his own.
Yes, he has. He's done pretty well, and having to work virtually against 2 players with very little support, It's been a problem for Stephen Pearce, but he stuck to his guns pretty well, but just had too many teammates today, the Demons, that just flash into the play when they feel like it, they seem to.
Ashley Dillon waiting for us downstairs. He's been listening to the coaches, and were you inspired by John Todd's speech, Ash?
Oh, absolutely. Toddy, as usual, fairly loud, let's put it that way, but he was basically happy with the way the Swans have played the game so far. He does feel they've won the 3 quarters to this point, and he feels they should run out the game, and he wants their players to really seal the issue early in this final term. On the other hand, David Glasscock didn't seem to be too disappointed. He was reasonably happy with the way his charges were performing. He just wants a little more application and look to Adrian Barrich to swing into the centre. He wants to get the former West Coast Eagle player in the thick of the action, and hopefully Perth might mount a bit of a charge later on in this final term. We wait with bated breath.
Thanks, Ashley. Now for ABC Television to start this last term, here's Wally Foreman with a 23-point lead to Swan Districts.
Swans kicking with the breeze in the final quarter, so a very big job in front of Perth if they're going to pull this out of the fire. Retzlaff drives Swans forward, taken by Callaghan. Allard missing what he needed to take, and a good mark has been pulled down at full forward by Sarah, and he will shoot from about 40 metres out. Well, this is not the start that the game needed if it was going to be a close contest, but an ideal start to the final term as far as Swans are concerned if Joe Sarah can convert here. This would extend the lead to 30 points. It's pulled it left, but I think it's held its line long enough. It has. So Sarah, who came on to replace Caton, who appeared to have been injured during the second quarter, I think, no, the third, early in the third, has kicked his first goal of the afternoon. Swans have their 16th.
And let's see if Jeff Wilson really got a hand of that ball. He was claiming vehemently to the umpire that he did, but I didn't think he did from that replay. And Sarah was able to kick the goal. And as Wally mentioned, an excellent start for Swans. And if Toddy said to put them away early, his players are going to take him at his word.
Davison won the tap. Cornelius underneath the pack there. Someone's got him by the shorts. Not a bad game today from Drew Cornelius. Davison wins the tap again. Shark there by Hanley. At close quarters to Guthrie, who thumps it upfield, but Young's in the way. He goes right across the half-back line. Good call from Kelly. Swans can mount a challenge again. Kelly's kick, a drop punt to half forward. Callaghan's there, beaten by Allard though. Callaghan won't let go. This is Gehrig. Thompson. Short. Bears dives. Cornelius got a high tackle there from Barrich, and he'll take the free kick for Swans. The kick to centre half forward, and floating in Menangola. He runs inside 50, lines up, measures the kick and puts it through. Good night, Perth. They've got no hope. Swans could run away with a very big win here, almost a percentage booster from here on.
Well, Todd Menangola swooping in from his right centre wing on that occasion. This is Drew Cornelius kicking the ball forward, and it's read well by Menangola, the depth of the ball, and just running virtually to the open goal there, the boy from Muckambuddin. And been around a bit. Yes, Mucker is his nickname, I think.
Well, since quarter time, Swans have outscored Perth by 13 goals to 6, Trev, so...
Yep, and that's really a fair indication, a fair indication too, Walt.
Barrich with a hurried kick to half forward. Jackson does well. This is McMurray. Not sure how he got through there. The kick didn't have the carry it needed to get to Cooper, but Williams intercepted. Hooks towards the goal square. Broadbridge got a hand to it. Another chance for Doherty, and there's a much-needed goal. They're going to need to do a lot more than that, and they really just haven't shown enough for any period of time this afternoon to suggest, as I said earlier, that they can make a contest out of this game.
Malcolm Williams here carrying the ball forward and eluding a tackle.
Did a good job there, Trev.
Yes, he did. He's very clever, of course, at getting out of trouble. And here's Paul Doherty. I think it's only his second kick. He spent some time on the interchange bench. So a quiet day today for Doherty after apparently he played fairly well last week. And his first goal. And yes, just 2 kicks to Paul Doherty and 4 hand passes.
29 points is the margin. Now, Perth need to get the next goal. They've got to string 2 or 3 together to give themselves a bit of fight and spirit. but it's Retzlaff who kicks the ball. No, it wasn't. It was Bradbrook who kicked it forward again, and Callaghan takes the mark in front of Allard. Big gap at the top of the square. Players let out, and Callaghan is in fact going to drive it back towards that gap. It doesn't quite go far enough. Chance at the side of the pack for Peel, but he couldn't pull it back anywhere near enough. In fact, he was lucky to score, I think. Behind results. Barrich will bring it in for Perth. 30 points the margin. To the members' side of the ground. The target is Piers. Davison is with him. He's got a spring. It's like a string bean, but...
He's got some ability.
Yes, he's one of those players who has the ability to just hang up there a little bit. That ball will drift into the left full forward pocket. Not really where Swans want it. Cornelius couldn't control it. Peel can. Bradbrook, 35, 40 metres out, and he's kicked a goal. 18-4 to 11-10.
And Grant Bradbrook, who has been tagging Guy Cannon for the early part of the game anyway, and it was a bit slow to start, I thought. Guy Cannon did well against him, and I know that John Todd does this with certain players. He likes to get them into the action, so he puts them on a player that will make sure they get near the action, and in fact he's still playing against Guy Cannon. But as the game has gone on, Grant Bradbrook has been valuable for Swan Districts today. 12
Swans players have kicked goals in this match. Edmonds and Kelly, Edmonds and Peel 3 each. Cannon kicks to half forward, and Jackson takes the mark out in front of Nathan Kelly, squares it up, and Guy Cannon pulls down another mark at centre half forward. He drives it into the pocket. Target is Cooper, who flies in front of Laredo. Crumbs to Williams, the clever Williams, but the kick short. Clarkson sells the dummy and then favours the members' side. Good kick. Finds Peel. Handley arriving late. Peel kicks into the middle of the ground. Menegola knocks it into the air. Bazzo tried to knock it on, but taken by McNaughton. Sweeping hand pass. Allard. Barrich from right centre wing. Drives it towards the forward pocket, and Jackson sweeping hand pass out wide there to McMurray, who kicks into the pocket, and Cooper. And that was a good piece of constructive football by the Demons.
Just getting the ball moving quickly there, Toby Jackson. It's a true centre-half forward's role to mark the ball and then hand it off very quickly, provided the options there. Gives Brenton Cooper a chance. The ball has to come down to his forward line quickly for him to have a chance. At 5'11", and not with a spectacular leap by any means.
I bet you wish you had that much hair, Trev.
Be nice, TJ.
Hey? I've got that much on my legs. Not a good kick from Cooper. It was never going to find the target, and one behind only. He's kicked 3 goals today, though. And he's certainly given Perth plenty of firepower in front, but I think he'd be better suited on a flank. Clarkson to put it back. He's got a beautiful kicking style. Target is Nathan Kelly, fisted by Nicholas. Lands with Broadbridge. Good vision. Puts it out over the top and finds Cornelius, who should run onto it. Closing is Allard. Cornelius gets around him. Well done. And kicks towards full forward. At the back. Almost the mark taken by Sara. This is the clever Callaghan. Who can he bounce it through? No, he missed. Wrong side of the post.
Well, he had the black and white stripes on, but number 35 for Collingwood would have got that one, wouldn't he? Peter Dacos.
Sure would have. Not today.
No.
He'd be disappointed he missed that, I would think. It wasn't a hard kick.
It's always hard when you try to bounce them through, though, Wal.
Yeah, well, he didn't have to.
No, that's right.
Gehrig brings it back in for Perth. Gets it outside 50 metres, but Davison thumps it straight back in, and Callaghan's given another chance. And he'll be disappointed he missed that too.
Is he a natural left-footer, Trev?
Yes, he is. And probably he hurried his right foot kick a little bit before when he tried to sort of bounce that one through, and he had a chance to steady and might have got the call from his teammates, but it's been impressive today, Callaghan.
Barrich is off for Perth, and Daniel Murray is back on.
That's interesting.
Gehrig has the ball, and there's very little happening. Murray is the target. Cornelius is in front. Chance at the back of the pack for Bazzo. Back to centre half forward. Perth best place to mark. Edmonds has it. McNaughton was held when he didn't have it, in the opinion of the umpire, and so the ball will come back to centre half back, or right half back for Perth. And the free kick is with McNaughton. He goes across the face of the ground to Gehrig. This is dangerous. Wilson. Peel is closing on him. It's 2-on-2 out there. Gehrig goes through the pack with a hand pass. Wilson has it and eventually gets the clearing kick in up towards centre wing. Young is there. It comes down to Cannon as Nicholas comes off and Barrage goes back on. That was short-lived. Williams not paid. And now Perth penalised, and it will be a free kick to Nathan Kelly at centre half back for Swans. And Menegola is 40 metres in the clear on right centre wing as he looks into centre half forward, uses the ball well, and Peel takes the mark. Chris Peel just outside half forward, but Finlayson has run into the pocket, got away from Thompson, and he's taken the mark 40 metres from goal.
See, Thompson stopped chasing. Finlayson had always made that move, and Thompson gave up and said he's not going to kick it there.
Finlayson is lining up for his second. He has the sea breeze right at his back. It's not as strong now as it was at the start of the game.
You kick this.
It's a good effort. It's home. That's the 19th for Swans. They're 19-6. Finlayson has 2 of them, and Perth are 11-11.
Yes, Darren Finlayson there, and poor football though by Russell Thompson, I thought. Finlayson takes a well-earned drink because he worked very hard from the left-hand side of the ground over to the right half-forward flank, or forward of that to the right full-forward pocket. Thompson was with him initially and then thought, no, I'll let him run. And so the ball was able to be brought in there. But Claremont there doing very well against Subiaco, and Subi, I think, kicked 5 goals in the first quarter and only 1 since.
Disappointing day for the Lions. And a disappointing day for the Demons, really. Swans have been far too good. When you consider the players out, it's a good old-fashioned bath coming up here for Perth. Williams working hard in that pack, only as far as Finlayson. Menegola, he's enjoyed his day today. Todd Menegola chips it to centre half forward, and Edmonds wraps it up. What a good player he's going to be in the WAFL this year, Todd Menegola, as is this man, Travis Edmonds. Edmonds to kick from 50, maybe a little more. Another left footer. Kicks across the face and touched over the line and out of bounds. Hayton's got cramp just behind play.
No, I think he's just stretching. They're off the ground.
Oh, right.
Good idea to run a couple on if you're struggling, wasn't it?
Yeah, sneak them on in the pocket.
Toddy's done it before, I think.
This is Kelly, came from Cornelius. Now Bazzo snaps. He's hooked it and missed. Not a bad place to watch football from up there. East Fremantle play East Perth tonight. That'll be a good game, Trevor.
I would favour East Fremantle, I think, TJ, because the way the Eagles selectors went, taking Clapper away with them and leaving Waterman home.
And what about West Perth and South tomorrow?
West Perth will be too good there. Much to your delight, I'm sure.
Well, I wish I shared your confidence. Not many wins at Fremantle Oval for West Perth, Trevor.
Yes, and I think probably a few critics underestimated the value of the Bassendean Oval here today to the home side here as well.
Yes, they played pretty well.
Or perhaps overrated Perth.
Yes.
Cornelius kicks towards the square. Edmonds in front. Williams across the goal line. He does it pretty well, backs himself to beat Sarah, and did that well. Well, not so well. Picked out Retzlaff, who bullets it into Bazzo, and Bazzo's 55 metres out. McKenna's just come back on for Perth. Maybe carrying a bit of condition, McKenna. Bazzo's kick 2. Drop punt from 55 metres. He's offline, and the minor score only.
Steve Bazzo seems to have enjoyed his time in the forward line, hasn't he? He really didn't have a lot to do in the back line where he started. He's an opportunist type player, and he's kicked a couple of goals and missed a couple perhaps he should have kicked.
Wilson brings it in for Perth. That's a good clearing kick too. He gets it about 55 metres out from goal, and Piers has been awarded the mark. Well, a very convincing early display this by Swan Districts. I think there were a lot of people who weren't sure how Swans would fare this season, but clearly they have the talent here again to be a force in the competition. They actually finished the season, the qualifying rounds, in second place last year on percentages to West Perth, but had a very disappointing finals series, bowing out in straight sets, so to speak, losing both their finals fixtures. This is Bazzo at right half forward. As we mentioned earlier, some good players to come back into the side. Callaghan running back into the square here. It's a good kick. Callaghan at the back, it didn't get to him. Another behind to the black and whites. 19-9. Perth 11-11.
Yes, you're talking really class players, aren't you? Ugle, Ball, Eaton.
Yes, they'll make... they'll
especially Jason Ball.
Effect.
I mean, he is a very talented footballer.
Well, now they've got Davison as well, who's measured up very well this afternoon. It was Davison who spoiled Piers there. They've got some talent in the big man department as Peel kicks at goal and spears it through. That's his fourth. Swans are 20 goals 9. Perth are 11-11. And the margin is out to 52 points.
Well, if David Glascott said to his players at three-quarter time, we must lessen the damage or lessen the impact of this victory by Swan Districts, minimise the damage, they usually say. But it certainly hasn't worked. That was the hand pass, came from Peter Kelly, and boot to ball very quickly for Chris Peel. And his teammates are pretty happy with him kicking that fourth goal, and I think he becomes the leading goal scorer on the ground today.
Davison and Jackson that time. Jackson wins the tap. This is Guy Cannon. He gets around Bradbrook and kicks to centre half forward. Too far for Piers. Coming to meet it though was Murray. Gives it away to Thompson. It was McMurray. Rising high there in the pack was Cooper. Barrett lost it. Laredo's got it. Forced a hand pass to Kelly. Kelly works it out of defence neatly. That's a very good kick from half back to half forward. Allard in front of Callaghan finds the safety of the white line.
And the other player that Swans have to come back, we've all forgotten, is Michael Sidebottom, who's a very good player.
Yeah. Out injured. Rod O'Neill, of course, dropped for this game. He's another player who could easily fit into this side somewhere.
Andy Holmes, Greg Walker in the reserves today.
That's a good mark to Piers. Got in front of the pack, took it in front of Nathan Kelly. Now he goes looking for McKenna. $129, Swans plays 77. This match was over a long time ago for Perth. Hanley, David Ogg, spoilt by McMurray. The ball's tied up inside 50. Big pack around this bounce. Piers wins the tap. Broadridge is a bit too tall there. Going to ground was Guthrie. Swept out by Peel. Bradbrook brought down by Barrich. Very close to the boundary line again, and Young works it over the line. Where do Perth go from here, Trevor?
Oh, I think they may have actually taken this game a little bit lightly, TJ, and you know, it can happen with young players, and David Glascott trying to get his team together. If they have a good think about it this week, I think they can regroup and come back. There's Nathan Kelly, who just come off the ground. Ice pack there to the calf muscle. A big cramp, I'd suggest, and perhaps a little kick.
While he receives treatment, his teammate, Brent Davison, goes right across the ground, square almost, to Laredo, who thumps it from half back. A high kick to the middle of the ground. Young behind that time. Off hands, well read there by Swans. I think it was Ogg. Hand pass to Finlayson, who's met solidly. Got a bad knock in the knee. He'll feel that. And it's Fraser Gehrig who kicks it out wide and finds his captain, Adrian Barrich. Finlayson hobbling as Perth go into attack. And in the pocket, the mark has been taken by Murray. He's about 30 metres out, measures it and kicks it. Quite a good build-up there from the Demons. And all too late, of course. As you can see, the gap is a massive one in favour of Swans. But that hit in the knee for Finlayson would have really stung.
And as Perth bring the ball forward here, and Daniel Murray, it's been interesting to me. He does look as if he's a little bit sore. but a little bit unfit perhaps, but the fact that he's been off the ground today quite a lot, I thought he's been one of the players that really got in for Perth. There's Darren Finlayson at least come off the ground for Swan Districts, and he's done a pretty good job today in his second league game.
14 possessions and a very sore knee. We know how he feels, Trev, don't we?
Yes, those knees, they're pretty common these days, TJ, aren't they?
I'll say.
Ball going towards full forward. Caton is on the ground to replace Finlayson. Edmonds gets it to Caton. Now this is... Edmonds gets back again. I was about to say this is the sort of goal that Caton's likely to kick. Into the pocket, and Callaghan with him, Allard.
Well done.
It's been a spirited tussle between those two. Allard stood aside and allowed Handley to come through, and he sockers it over the line.
The crowd don't like Handley for some reason. I think it might have been because of the Travis Edmonds one earlier.
Throw in about 30 metres around from Swan's goal. Edmonds surrenders front position. Allard at the side of the pack. Jackson is the target. Davison with superior judgment. And now Jackson has cramp, and it appears to be in his foot as the ball goes into centre half forward. Caton up very high, taken off hands by McMurray. This is Guy Cannon. Well-weighted kick, and McKenna doesn't let him down. Behind Ogg. Now a lot of vacant space in the forward line this time as they go looking for Cooper. Good mark. As he held on to that very strongly under a fair amount of pressure.
Yeah, it was good strong hands, wasn't it?
It was. Got up pretty high.
Yes, and the ball only jarred free when he took it all the way down, so that was a good decision.
Well, he's kicked 3 this afternoon. He has been the only ray of sunshine on the forward line for the Demons. McKenna kicked a couple, but he's been off the ground for a long time. Back out there now. And here's Cooper lining up just to the right of centre, and he'll kick from about 40 metres out. He's made hard work of it. May have just got that through. He has. So that's his fourth. Swans are 29. Perth are 13-11. The margin is 40 points.
Well, Brenton Cooper here, and once again getting a dividend from the fact that Perth brought the ball into their forward line quickly. That was the mark from Dustin McKenna from behind, and TJ mentioned that he needs fitness work, and that certainly appears the case, but that was a good mark there from Brenton Cooper, and whilst he's been a bit unobtrusive today, he's a sort of player. I saw him in the pre-season series as well, that you say he really hasn't done a lot today, but he's finished with 4 goals, and that's a good effort.
He appeared a lot more confident there when he didn't have players in front of him. Clear path of the ball, and he did a good job. Perth again, Guy Cannon to Guthrie. Guthrie's kicks off the side of the boot. Now McMurray with plenty of work to do. He's in front of Young. He did that pretty well. He's hemmed in looking for somewhere to go. He finally goes towards centre half forward, and McKenna pulls down the mark 55 metres out. He can kick over a good distance, McKenna. He should put this right on the goal line. He's underneath it a bit. It won't reach. They'll contest in the square. Off hands at the back to Laredo. Now Kelly, and it's out of the danger zone very quickly as Retzlaff goes up and pulls down a very good mark in front of Rigby. He finds foot right in front of the McDonald stand. Not many in there today. Certainly not packed. The kick towards the members' wing, and up goes Cornelius in front of Doherty. Shown plenty today for Swans. Chip over the top. Oh, just made it. It's Kelly. Arriving late was Thompson.
I think the weather has caused the game to slow down a bit now, TJ, into a kick and mark exhibition, hasn't it?
Certainly has. This is Edmonds now on the end of that kick. In front of his marksman, Gehrig. A kick towards the square. Caton at the back. Couldn't quite hang on. Picked up by Menegola. He gets around Handley. Oh, he tried to screw it across his body. That was a very poor attempt, really. And he's kicked it out of bounds on the full.
Why wouldn't he give it to Chris Peel, who was just ahead of him?
I thought Chris Peel was pretty polite about all that, actually.
Yes, he was.
Mascot was happy about it too. Allard puts it back into play. And big Toby Jackson out there. Tried to get it to Thompson at close quarters. I don't think Thompson was aware of that. They messed it up anyway, and Bradbrook gets it defensively. Menegola. This time he thumps it towards the square again. Wilson sets. Can't take the mark. Back he comes Wilson. Caton's there. So is Cornelius. They dive in on top of it. And that'll be a bounce. Peel limps away. No, Callaghan, that is. Had a good day. The top of the square. Edmonds tried to hack it out of the air, I think. And they find the boundary about 10 metres around from the behind post in the dying stages here at Bassendean Oval, and a decisive victory today to Swan Districts.
40 points the margin at the moment. We're well into the time-on period of the final quarter. Peel's kick was partly smothered. Chance for McNaughton, and he wasn't able to get it out as a result of bounce down. Still deep in in Swan's forward line, where it's been for most of the afternoon, certainly since quarter time.
A couple of those players, McNaughton and Allard, who both played in the representative WAFL side a couple of weeks ago, have been a little bit disappointing today.
This is Bazzo. Now Foot, and he's kicked it. Good goal to Troy Foot late in the game. Swans are 21-9. Perth are 13-11. And so far in this game, Swans have kicked 7 goals into the breeze. Perth have managed only 4, I think, and that's a big part of the story of this game.
Well, there's Callaghan working hard once again, and also Stephen Bazzo, and Troy Foot on his wrong foot. He's a left footer, and he dropped it on the right boot there very quickly. And a pretty strong looking player, Troy Foot, as you can see. And the 21st goal for Swans, and a feature today, 21 goals 9. That's terrific kicking.
And 13 goal scorers, Trev. What do you make of that for Swans?
Good spread of talent, and plenty of blokes running from behind the football to give opportunity.
Davison won the tap. Perth work it out of the middle. This is Kelly, who lost it to Pears from the centre square. He kicks towards the goal square, and a good strong mark taken to defence there by Clarkson against his old club today. He's had a pretty good day. Goes across the goal face. Laredo. Now Davidov, who's been a bit quiet, finds Kelly, who's had a good day. Sarah, run down from behind by Guthrie. Therefore the kick falls short. Landed with Perth. McNaughton. Now Cannon. He comes at the half forward. Bit of jostling in the pack there. Clarkson slaps it towards the boundary. This is McKenna. Good pick up. And now hooks towards the goal square, but he's way off line. Out of bounds on the full.
Is that a rueful smile from David Glascott? And I think he might have been saying Dustin McKenna needs to bring the ball to the top of the goal square and square it off from that position.
Well, I think he tried to, Trev. It didn't work.
Yeah, I think he could have tried a bit harder, TJ.
This is Sarah. He goes to Kelly. He pulls down the mark short of centre half back. And he's going right across the ground because Young is loose. Drops the sitter. He's got plenty of time though. Gets around McMurray and runs to the middle of the ground. Now kicks inside centre half forward. Wilson thumps away from Caton. Out there is Retzlaff in front of Rigby. It's going to come back pretty quickly here. Retzlaff looking for somewhere to give it to. He thought about Foot, tried to give it to him. Foot was under pressure from Thompson. Peel's working hard in there for Swan Districts. And the umpire's whistle indicates a bounce. .46 points the margin in favour of Swans. Close to the end of this game here at Bassendean. Highlights in our news tonight. Some very good passages of play earlier in the game. Don't be fooled by this last 15 minutes. There's been times when this game has risen some good heights as Peel hooks and way offline under severe pressure.
It's as players have got tired in the last quarter. The skill, or the last half of the last quarter, the skill level has dropped away. Pretty good performance there from Chris Peel with 20 possessions, 4 goals.
Wilson will bring it back in for the Demons. He gets it just outside 50 metres, and the umpire indicates that there was a push there. The free kick will go to Jackson. He plays on quickly. Hanley is loose on the half-back line, and he's got support. Trying to delay the hand pass, sends it to McNaughton now. He's at left centre wing. He kicks to half forward. Not such a good kick, although Perth do have the numbers. Williams was beaten for it comfortably, and Swans bring it away through Foot. He uses it well and finds Bazzo, who's going to go back on goal. Caton won't be over impressed with that. He made a pretty good lead, and Bazzo from just outside 50 metres has all but missed everything.
The fitness levels of Swans that seem to be a little bit above Perth's today. Just saw Matthew McMurray really labouring there, and also Russell Thompson couldn't keep up on those occasions.
Short kick in is effective. McNaughton missing the mark, gives Swans another chance here. McNaughton recovers the ball, but his hand pass has gone astray. Caton swoops, but loses control of it. And there will be a boundary throw in about 25 metres around from the right-hand behind post. 21-10 to 13-11. 47 points the margin. The margin almost as great there. In fact, it's greater.
Subiaco must have gone home.
64 points in that one, I think.
And another bounce, this time about 35 metres out from Swan District's goal. We're really just going through the motions here now. We've been playing almost 30 minutes in this final term. Jackson with front position. It wasn't, it was Gehrig. It doesn't matter. There's the siren. Very convincing performance by Swan Districts. Travis Edmonds, who played his role in this win. The final margin, 47 points in favour of the Black and Whites, as David Glascott is left to ponder what might have been.
Yes, they came here today full of hopes after their first up win against Subiaco, but the Black and Whites have sunk them, as they've sunk many sides here at Bassendean Oval. So they've got to go away and think about it, Perth. I'm sure they've got plenty to offer the competition this year, and the Wooden Spooners, I'm sure, will win their share of matches. Peel finished with 4, Edmonds 3, and for Perth, Cooper 4. And that was a good performance in a losing side. Who were some of your best for Swans, Trev?
I thought Brendan Retzler set up the win in the first half. Chris Peel from half forward was very valuable for them, and Travis Edmonds giving them a focal point up forward, with Peter Kelly the best of their defenders. And for Perth, Matthew McMurray, although he did fade in the last quarter of the game, was a good player. Guy Cannon and Stephen Pearce tried pretty hard in the ruck for them.
Comments there from Trevor Sprigg. The Perth camp disappointed today. Swan Districts kicking 8 goals in the second quarter, which set up their win. That was a good performance. The stats, well, fairly even, except for the number of kicks for Swan Districts. The handballs finished up fairly level, Trev.
Yes, they did, and the marking
dominating by Swans.
Yeah, Swans well in front there. They do have the height, don't they? And the hit-outs. So Swans 37 to 35, just narrowly. Free kicks only 34 given in the game, and that's good umpiring, I reckon. Let the game flow on. They perhaps could have rewarded a few more good tackles.
Well, Toddy did say he had some promising talent up here, and in the shape of Davison and young Callaghan, really good young talent.
Yes, he does indeed, and there's a few other players that are in their second seasons that go well too, such as Troy Foote and so on.
That's how the game unfolded today. Swans big winners by 47 points here at Bassendean Oval to chalk up their first win of the year and send the Perth hierarchy back to the drawing board. In the other match today, Claremont, far too good for Subiaco. East Fremantle play East Perth tonight, and we look forward to your company again next week with our match of the day, and see you then.